It's time for Windows Weekly. Paul Thurrott is here. Richard Campbell. Of course, we're going to talk about Patch Tuesday. It was yesterday. Windows 10 gets a little bit more life in it, and a lot of AI, including a bunch of AI browsers. Microsoft will not be left behind in this one either. All of that and a return of two of the best games of all time coming up next on Windows Weekly.
Podcasts you love
from people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Richard Campbell, episode 945, recorded Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. Vermont? Seriously? It's time for Windows Weekly. Hello, winners. Hello, dozers. Wake up. Paul Thurrott and Richard Campbell are here to entertain you. Hello, Mr. Paul Thurrott from Thurrott.com and leanpub.com. How the heck are you today?
Pretty good.
Nice to hear. And you, Mr. Richard Campbell,
Sir.
How are you today, sir?
I am doing very well. I am in Kansas City.
KC? What are you doing in KC?
The Kansas City Developers Conference is this
nice.
week. It's the workshop day today, so I'm in my hotel room, carefully positioned to not show you the bed, as I do. But I was able to tour today's whiskey distillery this morning.
Oh, so fresh off the still.
Fresh off the stills, having great conversation with a couple of the folks there. We had a good time, and I'm excited to talk about it. It's a great product. Nice group of people.
Nice to see you. Somebody was asking in the chat room if my kitty returned. Of course, that later that day last week.
Oh, good.
Yes, the kitty comes and goes now as she pleases.
It doesn't matter how much you shake the treats.
Yeah. Yeah, the shaking of the treats isn't really the most effective anymore. She's discovered another kitty out there, a male, and so she's kind of anxious to get out there and have some fun.
She's got some new priorities.
New priorities in her life. Anyway, so yes, she's fine. She's doing great. She's out there right now, as a matter of fact. All right, well, Patch Tuesday was yesterday, just in the nick of time, because apparently there was another 0 day with Exchange. So, I don't know if they fixed it, but these things happen, What's up?
I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist fan, maybe this is happening on purpose because they want to get everyone into the cloud.
Yeah, because they're on-prem problems with SharePoint and Exchange, right? If you would dare run it yourself.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
No, that's a conspiracy theory. We know those are never true.
No, the more obvious theory is that Microsoft's inept. And I think we all, we're like, that actually makes tons of sense.
Okay.
Now, there's also a schism between the folks that are working on the online product, which is the primary product. So the best of the best are there.
That's probably true, right?
And the on-prem product is a different group of people. So
this is a historic problem in all tech companies. Google has this problem. Nobody good wants to work on maintenance. They want to work on the next big thing.
That's
right?
God's work, though, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's maybe the most important thing. So don't give us a break, man.
I know it's not in the spotlight. It's not interesting.
It's not fun.
But making stuff actually work.
And now you're talking crazy talk.
It's not so bad,
honestly.
It's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what happened? What's the summary?
I'll tell you what happens. Patch Tuesday happens, and every time it happens, I'm like, wait, it's Patch Tuesday? How come I didn't remember this? And then you have to kind of scramble a little bit to figure out what the heck's going on. And, I kind of beaten this drum all year, but it's been a big year for updates. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but it seems like there's a world of haves and have-nots now. And the haves are the people with Copilot PCs who get all these additional features. And the have-nots are you lowly peons that just have normal Windows 11, like losers, and you get a few things.
You get just the cast-offs, the Libby.
Right. The stuff that kind of made it through the net. Although, to be honest, some of the stuff that everyone's getting is some of that stuff is worthwhile for sure. Anyway. Nothing major, or nothing new, I guess, if you've been paying attention for the past few months or weeks or whatever. But if you do have a Copilot Plus PC and you live in the EU, you finally get to have recall.
Wow.
United States tech companies like to punish the EU for their draconian and totally logical rules. And that's, you'll get it eventually. It's fine. There is a recall feature for everybody that's new. It's just reset. And it's just like a one button reset. Reset all of your settings, all of your data is reset, etc.
So it's the I'm afraid my wife is going to go through my recall, make this all go away right now button. Is that what that button is?
Yeah, you actually hit it and it goes to Excel. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's some click to do functionality. I should have put this in the notes now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll remember this when we get to the AI stuff. We've talked about this stuff. So it's like the practice in reading coach, the read with immersive reader, draft with Copilot in Word, send a Teams message, schedule a Teams meeting, like all the stuff we've talked about.
Yeah.
And then the AI agent in settings, which actually ties into that thing I was just not saying earlier, which is that one of the little themes this week, and then for the rest of our lives, is going to be how AI becomes kind of programmable, if that makes sense, or there'll be programmable interfaces in apps, in websites, in online services, so that AI can control those things. This is one of the dumber, but maybe one of the simpler examples of that, where Microsoft has actually been doing this work behind the scenes in the settings app for a long time. Each of the settings in the app is in fact accessible to a programmer through code, and now accessible to AI as well. And so they have an AI model that has been grounded in the data that is accessible inside of the settings app, which we think we can all agree is pretty limited. So now you can use natural language to talk to it and say, I want to make the screen dark. I want to do whatever. And it will try to get that going for you. That particular feature is Snapdragon X only, and it's only in the English language for now, but that obviously looks
wow. So not even just Copilot Plus PCs, but just one particular flavor of Copilot Plus.
Yeah. So next month, you can assume it will come to ARM and Intel.
It may not, just haven't finished testing it yet.
Yeah. They seem to do these in that kind of stutter step fashion. The best new feature for the rest of us, well, there's two features really that are tied together, is the quick machine recovery feature. This is available in Windows. Well, it's in the settings app, but if you go into the Windows Update or the restore area, you'll see it in there. And this is just a way to kind of do like an in-place reinstall of Windows, if that makes sense. So we'll look at what version you have. It will put everything back the way it was. It won't touch your data. It won't touch anything that isn't part of the operating system. And you reboot and come back and hopefully it fixes it. And by the way, for whatever it's worth, what PC was this? I just used this and it worked really well. And I can't remember what it was. But it will also automatically come on if you want it to, right? So you reboot, something's wrong. It will go into the Windows recovery environment and ask you if you want to use it to fix the problem. This is when you're going to see the other new feature, which is the new black screen of death, which we're not calling the black screen of death, but it is a new Windows 11 style version of the blue screen of death, but in black. Because, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. So that's fun. And then
these are still in insider builds, right? Or is this actually now the deployed patch?
It's deploying.
So if you have the current version of Windows, you have a black screen of death now.
Potentially. You got to remember this is Windows, so nothing is definitive. You now have the possibility of getting the black screen
without having to be an insider.
Yeah. It will roll out over time to you.
Aren't we lucky?
I love the way I have to talk now. Like I have to, now I just get to talk like an idiot all the time. It's like, can he answer a question? No, he covers Microsoft.
It could be, maybe. I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you see? What you see is fine. Whatever you see is exactly what's supposed to be there. I hate this so much. Okay.
Somebody just asked in the YouTube chat, is Paul giving up on Windows? No, this is just Paul.
No, I belong in a padded cell. This is fine.
It's your happy place. You're comfortable.
This is normal for me. It's getting to be. No, I don't know. They put all of the settings for search, which used to be split between privacy and just a search area in settings, into the one place. So it's all under privacy and security now. That's fine. There's this feature I cannot stand, but snap layouts is useful. This is the thing where you mouse over the maximize button in a window and it gives you some suggested layout layouts, or you drag a window around and a little panel comes down at the top. Mm-hmm. And I guess this wasn't obvious for people or something. So now there's a little, I don't know, like a little text. Well, actually, maybe I can make it happen here. What am I doing here? I think I turn it off. Yeah, I always turn this thing off. I hate it so much. So there's text that appears that explains to you this is what's happening. So, that needed to be called out. And then if you use the Windows Touch keyboard for some reason, there's a new layout for gamepads. So this is almost certainly related to these handheld gaming machines that are coming, where you might actually just be holding the thing and want to be able to interact with the on-screen controls. And so that's in there too.
Cool.
So fun. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Anything else you want to talk about, or should we just go home?
You know what?
Let me tell you. So there are two stuff this week.
There's a lot of Windows 11 on ARM news this week, which is amazing. It's all good news.
That's exciting. Yeah.
There is a lot of kind of Xbox/gaming news, and interestingly, these two things are related in many cases. So this is actually a pretty good.
The AI story's spicing up too.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I'm saving the gaming stuff for the Xbox segment at the end, but for now I will just leave it at Blender, which is an open source. It's a 3D app, isn't it? I don't use Blender.
Yeah. It's a 3D design app. It's good. It's it's a commonly used in place of other commercial tools. A little harder to learn, but very powerful. It is appearing on the iPad at the same time, which I have a feeling is a related development.
Oh, okay.
In other words, ARM is ARM.
Yeah. So it's now native on Windows 11 on ARM. There's more work to be done. The folks that make this are talking about how, I don't know how this app works, but they're right now the graphics back end supports the Adreno GPU now in Snapdragon X. So dramatically improved performance, both playback and rendering, and like 4.5 to 6x, like really good. But there's going to be future optimizations occurring here. So sometime before the end of the year, you'll see hardware accelerated ray tracing for a feature called Cycles, which again, I'm not familiar with the app, but this is moving full steam ahead. So that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. Ray tracing was just a couple of years ago.
I know.
Yeah. Oh my God. NVIDIA's doing ray tracing. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, integrated graphics. Yeah, we do that too.
Yep. Yeah. It's just out there, right? Yeah, Apple will probably use it for the next version of their operating system, and Windows will copy it 3 years later, and then we'll just give up on it 2 years.
I do not want a ray-traced operating system. Thank you very much.
Nobody does.
No.
But then we had this rare instance. I think it was Friday, or whatever it was. Doesn't matter. But we had 3 new builds in the Insider program all on the same day. Dev and beta were the same again, although there is one dev feature that is unique to dev, which is interesting because that's 25H2. And then the only change they made to Canary was that search settings consolidation that I just mentioned, which is now shipping and to the whole world. So that's where Canary's at, I guess. But the big deal here to me is just that no one seems to be able to give the official name for this. But when you bring up the start menu, you get that panel by default and aside for the phone link thing, and they're changing the UI. I think it has something to do with the new version of the link to Windows mobile app that they're updating right now as well. And these things are going to line up like the way they look and feel. And so it's probably just related to that. So they're just doing some UI tweaks there. You can toggle it off if you don't want it. You don't have to use it, but it is there if you do like it. And then I know this is going to be a huge deal for people. I don't know why everyone has such a bug up there, whatever about this, but one of the big complaints or concerns in our little community is like, when are they going to get rid of control panel? Like there's always this stuff there that's still not in settings and blah, 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 whatever.
There's still vendors who only put controls for their
I don't think we ever,
including Microsoft, I might add.
Yeah.
Right.
There's reasons for that, but those reasons are probably that this modern UI, WinUI 3/Windows App SDK thing is nonsense. But whatever. I guess in this in this dev build, which is 25H2, they have moved more of the settings from the control panel into settings. So these are related to time language keyboard, right? So now you can actually change the time server, which by the way used to require an admin, approval. But you can do that from the settings app now, which is a first. So if you go to settings, time and language, and then probably date and time, whatever, additional setting, it won't take you to the control panel. It will just do it right there. So yeah, nice. That's the kind of consistency we look forward to. So kind of partial, some settings are here, some are there. Welcome to Windows. What do you want me to say? So that's that.
Yeah, it's been true for a long time though.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it gives, people like us a chance to show off by saying, well, you just open a command line and you type / whatever the hell. I can't even remember.
Did you right click it? You should right click it. Does that solve it? It doesn't? I can't then. I don't know how to help you. That's all I know.
Call tech support.
How do you feel about the command line? Is there any?
Yeah, how do you feel? Yeah. You got to get it exactly right because you don't want to screw up your computer. But if you don't, if you feel like you can type, you're going to.
Yesterday, Steve was talking about malware that injected the command rm-rf* into systems, and they would just remove the whole everything, delete everything.
Just like pave the partition.
Yeah, pave it. Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yeah, that's malware, man.
I was gonna say that is the ultimate in malicious software when you think about it.
Used to be. That's kind of malware was more that like that. It was like more like vandalism.
Yeah.
Than extortion.
Than like state-sponsored
right?
extortion. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, well.
Eventually, nation states were like, "Wait, can we use this?
Hey, this is pretty good."
Yep. All right. Now
you're moving along here. This is going to be a short show.
It's not going to be a short show. There's so much happening. So don't you worry.
I'm just trying to figure out where to put the ads.
Getting past the frosting here.
Oh, this is the frosty layer.
Let's get we have a couple of. Center. We don't usually get Windows 10 in the news, but there are 2 Windows 10 stories that are both very interesting. Well, what? No, I'm sorry. Why would I say that? There are 2 Windows 10 stories. So one of them is good news, right? So both of these are good news, essentially. But Microsoft, we've known for a long time. So Windows 10 is hitting end of support in October. They are, for the first time, offering a extended support or extended security updates program for consumers. They've done this before for businesses with XP and with Windows 7, at least. I guess probably other releases too. I have no idea. But this is the first time for consumers. And then the question was going to be, well, how much does it cost? And what's going on? So technically it costs $30. But remember, a month or 2 ago, they were like, honestly, if you just back up and really sync your settings through the backup app that's now there in Windows 10 and 11, we'll just give it to you for free. Like all you got to do is just back up the computer, which is not backing up the whole computer, right? It's just it's a teeny thing. It's just a list of settings. So you're like, nice. I mean, so they made it better. And now they're saying, actually, if you do this, you will be able to get extended security support on Windows 10 on up to 10 PCs.
What? Just back up one and you get 10?
Just back up one.
Such
you get 10.
Such a deal.
Yeah. So
this is clearly a legal maneuver.
Yes. They're answering. Yes. Which, someone is trying to launch a class action lawsuit against Microsoft for ending the support of Windows 10. And it's like, I'm sorry, other than the fact that what you're asking is ludicrous. This is the type of stuff where it's going to be like, look, they've done everything they can to give this to you. It's fine, So that's good. And then I guess this isn't really a surprise, but officially now they have said that Microsoft will support Microsoft Edge in Windows 10 through October 2028. So that's when the extended security updates program ends, right? So 2025 end of support, but 3 years of extended support if businesses pay for it. 1 year for consumers. So 2028 would be that 3-year point. So as Edge is improved and updated over the next 3 years, presumably users on Windows 10 will still get all those.
And actually, technically, my experience has been you don't have to really give up on our operating system until you can't get browsers for it.
Yeah, that seems to be right. So that's happened multiple times. Chrome, Firefox, both have said, we're going to support whatever the version of Windows is for whatever amount of time. And they always support longer than Microsoft. So I don't know, 2028, you're still running Edge on Windows 10. I like, okay.
You deserve what you get, buddy.
Yeah, you get right. Exactly. You're lucky you have a browser. So I suppose, maybe if Firefox is still around or Google still owns Chrome. There's a lot of stuff going on here. But
if man is still alive, if woman can survive,
yeah.
they will fall in love.
Yes.
In the words of the poet Zager and Evans.
Nice.
All right. We're going to, I think now that you have done so much wonderful things, so many wonderful things.
So many, so quickly.
We're so deeply into the show now. I think I could probably do a commercial break, if you don't mind.
No.
Richard, can we hear you? You disappeared momentarily.
Yeah, it looked like a weird bonk. Might be a hotel.
I've been there.
Stuff, but,
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul. I shouldn't do that when you're drinking. That was just mean.
Come on,
but
man.
I do appreciate it. A 25-minute Windows segment.
He's like, wait for it.
He's going to drink. Okay, now.
Launch the attack.
5-minute Windows segment. It's a new feature of Windows Weekly.
Actually, I drank it with my windpipe.
AI, Xbox, and an American whiskey. Not a bourbon?
Not a bourbon.
Interesting. Get your drinking caps on. We'll be doing that later in the show. But first, he's already been to the distillery, kids. It's been a productive day. But first, a word from our sponsor. I'm always super happy to talk about the good folks at Bitwarden. Bitwarden is the password manager we use here at the beautiful TWiT attic. Used to be studios. Now that's an attic. Actually, maybe more to the point, Steve Gibson, our security guru, switched to Bitwarden roughly when I did, about 3 or 4 years ago. We're both very happy. Bitwarden is the trusted leader, in my opinion, in passwords, pass keys, and secrets management. Consistently ranked number 1 in user satisfaction by G2 and software reviews. More than 10 million users now. It's been growing. It's great. Over 180 countries. And, it's certainly a great choice for individuals because it's free forever for individuals. Another well-known password manager just the other day took back its free version. Before Bitwarden started advertising years ago, I said, now you're not going to, like that other guy, take away your free version. They said, we can't, we never will. And we promise, but we couldn't because we're open source. And if we took away the free version, they just fork it and we'd be done. So you've got a free version for individuals, but there's also a very strong enterprise offering. In fact, that's probably why 50,000 businesses now use Bitwarden. There's another reason why, maybe more to the point. 19 billion passwords are now available on the dark web. And this is the really scary thing about it. 94% of those, almost all of them, have been reused on multiple accounts. Now, we know this is, from a security point of view, always a bad thing to do. But it's why InfoStealer malware threats surged 500% last year. See, smart hackers these days, they don't try to hack into an account like they used to do, in war games. They simply get some of these breached passwords and the associated emails, and then they just try them. It's called credential stuffing across a variety of sites. If you reuse passwords and one site that you used it on gets breached, which is almost an inevitability nowadays, you're now vulnerable on every other site you use that password with. Yeesh. That's something that's really kind of a key driver in using Bitwarden. Bitwarden has some new features for enterprise that you're going to like. Bitwarden's Access Intelligence. It enables enterprises to proactively defend against internal credential risks like reused passwords and external phishing threats. There are 2 core functionalities here. Risk Insights allows IT teams to identify, prioritize, and remediate at-risk credentials. Basically, it finds the breached passwords and gives your employees, your end users, a chance to fix it, or IT can fix it. There's also an advanced phishing blocker, which alerts and redirects users away from known phishing sites in real time using a continuously updated open source block list of malicious domains. Actually, there's another thing Bitwarden does. We don't talk about it that much, but it's very important. It will not fill in a password or a passkey or any credential or any secret on a spoofed site. It knows better. Your users may not. They may say TWWITER. That's got to be Twitter, right? And try to fill. No. Actually, that's a pretty old example. I don't think there is a Twitter anymore. I think one of the things you and enterprise might want to really take a look at is passwordless, right? This is the future. Passwordless authentication is transforming digital security better than passwords. As usual, Bitwarden's at the forefront. It offers support for passkeys, of course, unlimited passkeys. And it's better to use your Bitwarden for a passkey than your device because your Bitwarden is on every device. So your passkeys go with you everywhere. It's made me totally embrace passkeys. Bitwarden also, of course, supports FIDO2 standards to strengthen and simplify the login experience. Bitwarden's passkey support includes enhanced support across web, desktop, and mobile platforms. As I said, enabling users to store and sync passkeys with end-to-end encryption and then have them available at any time. It also supports two-step login with FIDO2 and WebAuthn, which allows hardware key authentication as a second factor. If you really need to harden an authentication, that's the way to do it. I use my YubiKey on those critical places, right? In fact, I use it on Bitwarden. So Bitwarden allows you to use it either as a secondary factor or, and this is very convenient and just as secure, I think, a primary method for supported logins. Biometric unlock enhancements, Touch ID and Face ID on mobile and desktop, Windows Hello, really streamline access. Employees love it, but it doesn't compromise security. And if you're using Bitwarden, it enhances security. Plus, you get improved autofill experiences. They're always working on this, not just for passkeys, but for credit cards, for identities. It's designed to work seamlessly across all modern browsers and apps. It's the first thing I do when I install a new OS or a new browser. Of course, I install Bitwarden. And it's nice because Bitwarden's setup only takes a few minutes. And if you're using another password manager, do not hesitate. It's easy to switch. Bitwarden supports importing directly from most password management solutions. Very important to me. Bitwarden's open source code can be inspected by anyone. GPL licensed. It's regularly audited by third-party experts. And of course, they make every effort to be secure. They meet SOC 2 Type 2 standards, GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA compliant, privacy's number one. They're ISO 27001-2002 certified. That's the new one. Get started today with Bitwarden's free trial of a Teams or enterprise plan. Free trial for your business. And as I always like to mention, and I know you use a password manager, but if you've got friends and family who are still reusing passwords, using Monkey123 or their pet's name and their birthday for password everywhere, tell them Bitwarden is free across all devices as an individual user. Bitwarden.com/twit. Bitwarden.com/twit. I'm sorry, I went on a little long on that, but I'm a big believer in all this.
We're all users.
You use it too? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
swear
it's
by
fantastic. Yeah.
Yep. God, she who must be obeyed using it in the family plan.
See, that's the trick.
Yeah.
Is getting family members who probably aren't as savvy as we are.
Well, and house accounts, right? That we both have access to long passwords house accounts.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Bitwarden, for supporting Windows Weekly. You're in Macungie. Are you going? When are you going back to Mexico City? Any such?
Probably mid-September.
I saw the fantastic picture of your daughter graduating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so great.
So she was doing my son. My son and my daughter get along so great. It's one of the things I'm so happy about. But that's the sign language for
I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
So
she was signing to your son.
Yes. How nice is that?
God, it's so sweet.
That's pretty sweet.
And boy, that smile on her face and that beautiful cap and gown. UNC Charlotte, was that where it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What's she going to do now? Move back home?
No, she's going to stay down there for now. She's probably going to continue school, but part-time while she works.
What does she want to do?
It's kind of like physical therapy, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. We need more physical therapists. And nice thing about PT, AI can't do that.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
so
right.
True.
This is lucky
Kids,
for her.
Pick a profession that will not be stolen by the machine.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of which, let's talk about AI. I have to say, I know you're going to talk about GPT-5, or I figure you will, because that's the newest model from OpenAI, and there's been, very back and forth mixed reaction.
I know.
I've been pretty happy. I have an Obsidian plugin that I had this wild hair. I said, I wonder if I can somehow write it so that in my daily note before, as it starts up, it puts in the sunrise and sunset time, because I like to take a walk at just before sunset. I don't want to go in the dark. So I asked it, and then I got fancy, and I said, "Oh, can you do the high and low temperature?" Yes. Can you do the phase of the moon? Yes. How about this? What if you ask me where I am? I tell you, and you give me the weather for that. So I've just been playing with it.
Nice.
And this is all vibe coded, almost one-shotted. I mean, it wasn't because I kept adding things, but this was GPT-5 did this.
You created a dashboard, basically.
It's a JavaScript. So I'll show you the code. Actually, it's a JavaScript plugin. It's in my scripts folder. So it wrote it completely in JavaScript. Oh, it's kind of small. You can't really see it, but it wrote all this JavaScript. It went out and tried different APIs. I said, well, this. First I said National Weather Service. Finally, we came up with Open Meteo, which is a API. You don't need a key for it. It does everything but the moon. So it wrote I guess it's a well-known moon phase calculation that does a very good job. I then said, oh yeah, instead of putting this in text, why don't you give me moon phases in an emoji? It figured all of that out. I didn't tell it any of that. Same thing with the weather and emojis. It wrote all of this beautifully.
This is cool. I will say, every time I see JavaScript code, I'm reminded of why I don't write JavaScript.
Yes.
But
I didn't. I mean, I could tell what it's doing, but I would not want to write this.
No, it looks terrible. I mean, sorry, it's JavaScript's terrible. The script it wrote is
it did it beautifully. I mean, it exported the main function so that I could run it in a certain way, and it just did everything beautifully. Couldn't be happier. You want to? I'll show you. How it works. Where should we find out what the weather is in Charlotte? Control W. Let's see. Oh, maybe I haven't turned it on here. I haven't. Shoot. You could see I tried a lot of locations.
That's cool though.
But see, I was thinking. So by default, it does where I am, Petaluma.
I like that you bowed down to your AI overlord at the end. You were like complimentary to it.
Thank you, ChatGPT. I do. I thank it.
I'm not sucking up. I love you.
I love you. You did a nice job.
Just
beautiful.
Let me know if you need anything.
Beautiful.
Any CPU cycles, whatever.
But it's kind of empowering because now I know I can easily add little JavaScript doohickeys, features.
Yeah.
Sure.
Without knowing any JavaScript. Well, I know a little JavaScript, but I don't want to write it, as you say. If it didn't, if I had a program that did it in common Lisp, I'd do that, but I don't. And JavaScript is a lingua franca for everything.
No, I get it. I mean,
that's an Electron app, I think.
But it's like drawing in the sand with a stick. It's like, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
Picking up the electrons with your chromium tip tweezers and stacking them.
I will do a blog post on my blog, leo.fm, with all the code and how it works and all that stuff, so people can see the process. But I just say this in defense of ChatGPT-5 because it's been getting a lot of What's been your experience?
I have not even looked at it. So
What's wrong with you?
I've been looking at, so we're going to get to this because I've been looking at other stuff. The truth is I use ChatGPT behind the scenes in things like GitHub Copilot or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, I've not. Well, okay, maybe I have actually seen it, but if I have, it's only been circumstance. Like I never went. I was busy, right? So we went away. We did the thing with
graduation.
But I have been looking at these AI powered browsers, which we'll talk about, and of course I've been following the story. So, to me, one of the weird, I'm going to call it a weakness or whatever, one of the stupidity things about OpenAI, ChatGPT, whatever these things are, is that like you pick the model. It's like you go to it and you're like, oh, use this if you need like a longer time thinking. And it's like, guys, like you do that. Like I don't understand why I'm picking that. That's silly.
Well, at first it didn't do that. I don't know what Copilot's doing, but if you had the ChatGPT app and it was to people's dismay, it just picked 5.
That was the thing. So
Yeah.
but it's supposed to. They have a term for this that's not orchestration, but it means orchestration. Like what it's supposed to do is use because there's actually multiple models, right? Like it's supposed to do the right thing depending on what you ask, which is basically orchestrate. It's one form of orchestration, and is the way I think it should work. So the day that this was announced, of course, was a weird day. You know, Sam Altman tweets a picture of like the Death Star over.
Oh, that was so weird.
And it's like with no explanation.
Did he not understand that the Death Star shortly thereafter was destroyed by the Rebel Alliance?
And also, who are you? And are you the Death Star? Like,
what are we talking
What's
here?
your role here exactly?
The messaging on this is so bizarre. But then they announced this. Okay. So Microsoft is like, oh my God, we're doing this right now. Like, so that Microsoft is quickly rolling this out everywhere they can. And then, within 2 seconds, people are like, oh, I want GPT 4.0. What's going on?
What happened to the
like
sycophantic?
I don't like
the one that loved me. I was in love with it.
Yeah. I don't like different things. Like you got to bring it back. So they actually, over the course of just a few days, I guess, have kind of stepped this thing back. They brought the model picker back. Now it's temporary. I mean, the goal is to, make GPT 5 acceptable for everybody or whatever. But this didn't go great. Like,
the updates for more obsequiousness, right?
Yeah, right. I would.
I think what they
did. Can I dial up the fawning? I mean, what do I?
We talked about this on Sunday on TWiT, and Wes Faulkner's suggested, and I think he's right, that they did this because they thought GPT-5 would take all the GPUs. So they just allocated all the resources to 5. They didn't expect people would miss the sycophantic.
I know.
ChatGPT.
Well, they got so many. That's the thing, though. Look, this company is not run by human beings. It's not surprising they don't understand human beings. And the central thing you need to understand about human beings is they like to complain. So when you were doing it that way, they complained about that.
Yeah.
But now that you're doing it this way, you did what they wanted. Now they're complaining about that. So welcome to users.
It's normal. There are a lot of different types.
Yep.
The other thing that we streamed the announcement last week, as you know, and it was right before the show. Right. Or maybe it was it? I think it was.
It might have been, yeah. I remember this, but yeah.
And I didn't notice because, there's a lot going on, but many people did, that the graphs they showed were apparently designed by, were nonsensical.
And they were completely, yeah.
They were wrong.
It's so good. It's so good.
Like, didn't they, even a cursory examination would have showed that they were terrible.
So
you presume there was a big test suite, right?
Apparently there wasn't even a human.
This is weird how this ties into so much of my life. I hate my industry. I hate everyone who works in it. I think they're all terrible. And the writing I see out there is awful. It's mostly just ads now. It's like, don't pay for Microsoft 365 every month. You can get this lifetime, payment one time only, and it's Office 2019 or something. That kind of nonsense, right? So I had we're going to talk about AI browsers in a bit, and one of the many things I've done on each of them to try see how they work is like, make a price tracker. And the example I've used every time is a product I am never going to buy, but it doesn't really matter. It's like a Sonos Era 100 speaker. So we'll get to this. We'll just say Microsoft Edge did not do so good. But the point of this was, after I was done with all that, I'm going through the headlines, and the Sonos Era 100 speaker is 40% off. And I was like, really? That's interesting, because I was just trying to do a price tracker for that. So I just looked at it to see what it was. And so the price had gone down from $199 to $179. And I was like, I'm not good at math, but I can tell you that's not 40%. And I have to wonder if AI was writing this headline, because that is so far off.
Not even close.
It's not even close. It's like, I wish it was 40% off. That would actually be a significant savings on a $200 product, but that was not what happened. It was $20 off, which is 10%. But, again, I'm not great at math, but I guess I'm better than AI. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, this is the world we live in. So we're all, it's fortunate that humans are so detail oriented, because we're going to catch these things. And So I don't know what I'm talking about.
He's being sarcastic. I'm
surprised I saw that. I don't think I only saw it because I was just looking at it. Like, I don't think I would have even noticed it. I was like, yeah, 40% off.
Well, that's the problem is you put a lot of trust. The computer says, and you just go, yeah, I'm not going to check that. That's the computer. It knows.
It's like we were at trivia the week, actually Wednesday night after the show. And one of the questions was, what are the 2 states that border Rhode Island? Now, okay, I grew up in Massachusetts.
You know the answer to this.
But this guy, older than me, looks like a smart guy. His wife was a former healthcare worker we've known for a long time. And he goes, Vermont? And I'm like,
Delaware. Yeah.
I was just about to blurt out, if you don't know the answer to this one, you might not be an American. Which I have to say in rural Pennsylvania maybe isn't the smartest thing to say out loud.
No.
And I was like, Vermont? Seriously? I mean, like, at least
it is in the Northeast.
It is a state.
It's roughly in
I will give you that
direction. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, look, my kids not knowing that, I would get it. You know, young people, whatever. But like this guy, like, you've been alive too long not to know the answer to this question. It's bizarre to me. But it's the type of thing, again, like it's like AI. I'm like, this is what AI. He's like looking at Copilot or something like Vermont.
You know, it's
like,
a good skill, and it will be rarer and rarer. But kids, your daughter, my kids, learn how to question authority. Learn how to question these confident errors. You know, question everything.
Okay,
use your noggin.
First of all, I love you've just triggered a memory again. The guy who got me into writing, Gary, the first book we wrote together was a Visual Basic book. This guy's a genius. I'm not a genius. And he knows this thing back and forth, and I do not. And I'm doing most of the writing on it somehow. But now I'm sitting across from him. And at the time, you would write, print it out, take the paper, and he sits there and he goes over every line.
Pencil. Yeah.
And you can see him. He's going, and then he stops. And he goes back. And he looks at me, and he goes back. And he goes, this is what he said. He goes, you sure about this? I'm like, and I was like, I was, but now I am not.
Nicely done, Gary.
And I was incorrect. No shocker there, right? Not trusting yourself or not trusting the answer or whatever you want to call that is I'm not saying it's a skill, but it is an important thing to.
What do we call
humility to that?
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Or they could be wrong. I mean, what do we call that in coding? We call it a sanity check, right?
Yeah.
Where you just look at the roughly.
Show someone like, can you just look at this for a second? Are you seeing what I'm seeing here? You know, is this right? 40%? Is it 40%? Vermont? Really?
So we all have to develop that muscle more because we're going to be in a world of AI slop.
Right. Now, you could doubt yourself too much. This is a problem I absolutely have. Like, I doubt myself too quickly. So, like, I didn't do this.
Don't doubt yourself, but doubt everybody else.
But that guy with Vermont, you know, like, I lived in New England my entire life almost. That's 40, 50 years, whatever. Maybe Vermont is next to Rhode Island. I mean, maybe I'm
wrong.
Despite the fact that we got engaged there and have driven there like literally dozens of times. Maybe it's me.
All I know is a long way from Rhode Island to Vermont. That's all I know. That's a long drive.
Yeah, I can tell you there are no major roads that go directly from those two places to the other.
We used to do that on vacation, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anywho.
I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm just complaining about things. So, okay. Where are we? Oh, yeah. So GPT-5, whatever. GPT-4o is back for a little while. Apple is like, yeah, we're going to do it. Apple is, remember the meme? There used to be a meme. It was like the little browser icons with little legs and arms and everything. And it was, I don't remember exactly the thing, but it was like Firefox was like, I invented tabs, you know, and then the next panel, it's like Chrome is like, I was built for performance. And then Safari is like, I protect your privacy. And then the next one is like, they're all looking, no one's saying anything. And Internet Explorer's over there. They're all kind of looking at him and he goes, yay, internet. And like, I feel like that's where we're at with Copilot. You know, it's like, what are they doing? GPT-5? Yay, AI. Like, we're like, now we have it too. Like, they just do it right away. Maybe Apple is maybe a better example of this. I don't know. Anyway, Microsoft is rolling this out. I think I think it's already in, I could be wrong, but I think it's already in Visual Studio Code and GitHub Copilot. So it's,
That's pretty much their day of. They did it very quickly.
okay, there you go. So yeah, good for them. And that's good. And then I think it was the day before, which this is kind of messed up. I believe it was one day before, but it could have been 2 days before. But Bing announced that they were using GPT-4o for image creation at bing.com/create, which is their image creator. Yeah. So maybe they're on, I meant to look at this. It's possible. Well, they don't even, it's still GPT-4o. Yeah. So they're still on
By the
old
way,
version.
I do blame OpenAI for some of this because the numbering scheme is nonsense.
It's terrible. Yeah.
It's worse than Microsoft. It's crazy.
Right. Right.
It makes what is 3.0 better than 4.0? Yes. But it shouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know.
And what's 4.1 in relation?
Right. This is why this company's perfect for Microsoft. This is the company that like version 3.1 is the biggest thing in the world, and then version 6 we're stuck on for the rest of our lives somehow.
It's crazy.
Like it's just unbelievable.
Ah, what a world. You know what? It's good that this world is flawed because what would you and I have to complain about, Paul? Otherwise,
I always find something, but I like the kind of positive outlook on life thing. It's like, look at the wonderful career Microsoft has given me.
There you go.
But I also look at the mental problems I have now because of Microsoft. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a yin and a yang, I guess. I don't know. If you like predictability and reliability and consistency and things like that, you might be in the wrong business. I don't know.
The word you're looking for is non-deterministic.
Yes.
Oh, I like it.
So I meant to talk to you about that. You talked to Billy Hollis on Runners Radio recently again. I love this guy.
So great.
The talk turned to kind of non-deterministic, and I don't remember which one of you finally said it. You're like, to be honest, it's always been it's always been non-deterministic, really.
Yes.
Like, right? Like when you talk about programming, like, I always
assume. Well, you know what? It is deterministic if you knew all the variables.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is but
we operate in enough layers these days that you simply don't.
There's
know
some unknowns. And
I've always said this though, like zeros and ones. So the software could and should be perfect.
It is deterministic.
Should be perfect.
You just don't know all of the things that are happening.
See, the thing is, I programmed it enough to realize it's magic, and I refuse to believe there's any science involved. And
it's things like race conditions where you think, I said if this, then that. Mm-hmm. Why is
this morning in the car, my wife and I traded off driving. We drove back this morning, right? And so my time in the car, there was not much going on with work stuff. So I popped open Visual Studio, and I'm literally stepping through a debugger. Yeah, in the car, which works fine on a highway. It's not great back roads.
I would get car sick.
Yeah, no, it was fine. But I can't. I know what it says. I know what it's supposed to be. You're stepping through it, and it's like, all right, this value is going to be true. So you're like, step, false. You're like, nope. And like, I don't know. To this moment, I don't know why.
This is why you doubt yourself, Paul.
Because I've been wrong so much.
Yes.
How many times do you get hit in the face before all you do is flinch? We're
going to take a little break now, I think, because we got to get Richard synchronized.
Okay.
I'll pop in and out.
He's come out. He's come unstuck in time. But then I think we should talk.
There's so much AI.
There's a lot of AI. I think this is a good time to take a nap before to get ready to prepare.
Gear up, gird your loins or whatever it is you do.
The big AI segment. I think one of my we do a show about AI. That's the next show, Intelligent Machines.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got the product director for Google's models coming up, an interview with Tulsi Doshi. So that'll be very interesting. But one of the things I've realized from kind of focusing so much on this, and because of it, I have to try. I try it more than I would probably. Like I had to try GPT-5 in a variety of settings. Right. It's silly to expect general intelligence from these things. You have to kind of know what they can and cannot do and have normal expectations, just like anything else, like a human.
You just said a non-joking version of what I said earlier, which is that you're right. But the truth is that's not how people work, right? So even myself, like I doubt this stuff. I don't trust it. But when it's right enough times in a row, like with a programming thing, you do whether you mean to or not, like you fall into it. And so
that's
the problem for me, for mainstream users, is that they could be looking up like a health topic or a money thing, and it looks like good advice maybe, or it looks like it's giving good information, and they don't really know any better necessarily. And they're like, yeah, this is a super intelligence, so obviously I'm going to trust it. And it's like,
don't. There was a story we covered on Sunday.
Yeah.
A guy who wanted to get all the chlorine out of his diet. He was kind of a health crackpot.
The chlorine.
Yeah, out of his diet.
Oh boy.
So he asked AI what he didn't want to, he realized he had learned, or maybe the AI told him, that salt is sodium chloride.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, I don't want to do that. So the AI apparently told him, use sodium bromide. And about 6 months later, he had a psychotic break.
I was going to say,
he poisoned himself.
God. Now, this person was
that might have been a mistake.
Probably pretty smart.
I think he was.
Sounds idiotic, but
yeah.
No, but this is the problem. Like, people aren't educated on these topics, and so they're seeking out advice. They were used to, the computer. Like, the computer knows. Like, the computer's going to be right all the time. Like, you got to be careful.
We were warned about this. In fact, this is that famous stochastic.
I don't even like recommending a laptop. What goes wrong? What goes wrong if the laptop isn't exactly what you want? You're like, I spent $1,000. This isn't
Paul
perfect.
Thurrott's fault.
What a jerk. But I didn't kill anybody, hopefully, or whatever. Like, I don't know. This stuff makes me nervous.
Imagine, for 19 years, I did a national radio show where all I did was dispense spying advice.
Right. And then you get off the mic at the end and you must have been like, oh, dear God, I hope I never hear from these people again.
Well, the worst thing is when a call begins, Leo, you told me to do this. And I was like,
Leo, I feel like you've transferred that blame to me nicely. Like, you're
God.
Like, Paul told me to install this browser. I'm like, I literally just mentioned a browser.
That's what I would say. I would say, oh no, I heard this on Windows Weekly.
Yeah, Paul did. You want his email address? I actually have his phone number. I don't know if you want to. If this is
told
important,
me this is a good laptop.
Yeah.
No, I took responsibility, but unfortunately, that didn't happen that often.
Yeah.
But people want answers. I understand. And kind of mentally, we're maybe a little lazy. We're all a little lazy. And if something comes along and it seems like the voice of reason, we take it.
Yep. And this is the dream. The point of this is it's supposed to save you money.
Think.
Yeah.
Well, the point of it is we don't want to think. Right. It's hard work.
Right.
It uses up a lot of.
Yeah. If I wanted to think, I'd be watching Nova at night. Think about it. I'm like.
What is this? PBS?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Listen, Brainiac. I just want to wind down a little bit here. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's take a little break, and we will get back to the AI topic at hand. You're watching Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott, the Brainiac. Actually, we got two Brainiacs. Richard Campbell, who is pretty much an autodidact on any subject.
Right.
You could look it up.
And then Paul the village Thurrott, idiot over here, the one.
No. He's the self-deprecating smart guy.
Okay.
He lacks confidence, but he really knows what he's doing.
Yes, I like confidence. I'm entering the dating pool. I don't know. Look at what I got here, ladies.
The genetics are
absolute lack of confidence.
Ideal, but what is genetics anyway? It's all made up.
It's what's going to kill me, Leo. That's what it is. But it's okay.
Our show today brought to you by my mattress. I just want to say, quite literally, Helix Sleep. I'm kind of a fan of sleep. I hope we all are. Sleep is probably the most important health thing you can do for yourself. It has so many great, important benefits. But your mattress isn't just about sleep. Your mattress is we spend more than 8 hours on our mattress every day. You cuddle with your pet. I cuddle with our kitty cat in the morning. Movie nights, with your partner, Netflix and chill. One of my favorite things to do is to wind down with a good book, curl up with a good book, and your mattress is at the center of it all. It's got to be comfortable. It's got to protect your back. It's got to keep you from, you don't want to wake up sweating or feeling every toss and turn your partner makes. I was telling this story the other day. Cat jumped on the bed. I popped up, said, "Earthquake." No, that's when we knew, when we needed a new mattress. And what we did is we did a little research. It turns out you should get a new mattress every 6 to 10 years. They wear out. I didn't even know this. They wear out. Yeah, you can rotate them, etc., but eventually they sag. And you need a mattress. You need a new mattress every 6 to 10 years, and you need a mattress that fits your sleeping style. Helix Sleep. First thing we did, we went to helixsleep.com/twit, and we took the quiz that asks you what kind of sleeper you are, and then recommends a mattress for you. Helix Sleep changes everything. No more night sweats, no back pain, no motion transfer. You're getting the deep sleep you deserve. We also looked at the reviews. One buyer gave it 5 stars, saying, "I love my Helix mattress. I will never sleep on anything else." That could be me now. This morning, I said, "Oh man, I'm loving this mattress." Told Lisa, I said, "Man, that was great." Time and time again, Helix Sleep. Oh, this is the other thing. We saw these awards. It's the most awarded mattress brand this year alone. This is 2025 alone. Wired's Best Mattress 2025. Best Good Housekeeping Bedding Awards 2025 for premium plus size support. That's good, because you want a mattress to support you at any weight. GQ Sleep Awards 2025 Best Hybrid Mattress. New York Times Wirecutter 2025 featured for plus size. Oprah's Daily Sleep Awards 2025 Best Hotel-like Feel. I think I know what they're saying, because when you go to a really 5-star, 6-star hotel, really nice hotel, you get in that bed, you go, boy, I wish I had this at home. Well, we do now. Go to helixsleep.com/twit. Right now, you'll get 20% off site-wide during their Labor Day sale early access. helixsleep.com/twit, 20% off site-wide. But I got to tell you, the offer ends August 14th, 2025. That's tomorrow, right? Make sure after you check out, you put our show name in when they say, "Oh, how'd you find out about us?" Say, "We heard it on Windows Weekly." That way they'll know we sent you. If you're listening after the sale ends August 14th, check them out. helixsleep.com/twit. Start with a sleep quiz. HELIX. helixsleep.com/twit. Love our new mattress. Love it. All right, let's talk. Oh, this perplexities. Do you want to talk about this perplexity story?
I love this.
Oh my God. You know what?
Amazing.
I really was a perplexity fanatic.
I still am.
There's been so much in the news. Steve Gibson was just railing on him yesterday. So what?
Because they're stealing content and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I want my AI to be as good as it can be, Leo. I don't understand the complaint.
Well, that's the trade-off, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't stop AIs from scraping us in any way. Do you on TWiT? Do you use robots? No.
I'm not sure I could do anything that would be effective, honestly.
Well, that's what Cloudflare was saying is we tried everything and we couldn't stop them.
Yep. AI is the Terminator robot of technology, I guess.
So you're going to still use Perplexity?
Well, I have been. So, we'll see. This stuff is all fluid, I would say, at the moment. But yeah, we'll get to that. But so Perplexity is one of a couple of companies that has expressed interest in buying Chrome if Google is forced to sell it off because of the antitrust case in the US. And we'll see what happens there. But out of nowhere, they went to Google with a $34.5 billion bid.
What?
To purchase the browser.
They're worth $18 billion.
Right. So they're probably going to finance it.
They must have some investors.
Yeah, they do. They said they do. Yeah.
We're waiting for Judge Mehta's decision.
Which, by the way, was due a week ago. He said it was going to take a year. It's been a year. So it could be any day. It could happen while we're doing this. We'll see. That'll be interesting. Google is going to appeal, so it's not going to happen immediately. But
they don't want to sell Chrome.
Perplexity is probably counting on that.
They very much do not want
at this point.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting way to stirring the pot. Yeah. So, look, no one really knows what Google Chrome is worth, but the estimates ranged from 20 to 50 billion, and 34.5 is pretty much right in the middle. It's right in the middle.
It feels a little like a publicity stunt, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair, right?
I mean, look,
but that's the next big thing is these agentic browsers, right?
Yeah. And they have their own, obviously based on Chromium, as it would be, which is very good.
Perplexity has one?
Yep. Called Comet.
Oh, that's right. I've been using it.
Yeah. It's, so you could kind of imagine that if they were to get Chrome, which I think is kind of a long shot, that they would just they would use Chrome instead of Chromium or whatever, obviously.
They want the users. I don't think it's the technology.
So
anybody can use Chromium.
Pledged to keep updating Chromium, to keep, I think they talked about $3 billion in investments over the next 2 years in updating the browsers and whatever. I don't know. I don't know this company from Adam. All I know is they stole from me and now I pay them money. But the point is,
who's this? Google you're talking about?
No. Well, Google too. But no, actually, I don't pay Perplexity. But I do get their Pro plan for free, right? Per that tip a couple weeks ago. Because I got it through the Samsung store.
I've been paying for it for a couple of years. Yeah.
No, we're both part of the problem. So,
well, I stopped. I canceled my subscription.
Okay.
I just decided, one of the reasons is I found, we had the CEO of Coggy, which is the weird paid search engine I use, on last week on Intelligent Machines.
Yeah.
And it turns out they have a very similar product to Perplexity. It's called Coggy Assistant.
Okay.
That could choose a much broader range of models. And I tried it out, and it does everything for me, and it's in the browser.
Right.
It does everything for me that Perplexity does. So,
So
until I found out they're doing something shady, I don't know.
There's not much in this space yet, right? We have Dia, which is Mac only, which is the successor to Arc from the browser. I know. Microsoft Edge last week announced something called Copilot mode for Microsoft Edge, which is maybe the most evolutionary, if you will, of the updates. Like, not a big deal. It's yet, although that could be changing, by the way, we'll see. And then Comet, which, I think Comet and Dia are very similar to me in many ways, but what it is a familiar browser experience. All three of these things, take over in Windows what is the Control-L keyboard shortcut, right? So remember Arc, the big thing was Control-T, would bring up that kind of command box. And you could do stuff. And one of those things is, you could open something in a new tab, but it kind of overrode new tab. So what these browsers are all doing now is they have a new tab page, which is the chat interface. And if you Control-L it goes to the chat, not to the address bar. So maybe that's an innovation. I don't know. But to me, it's like what you do from there. And this is the thing I alluded to this earlier. I'm going to write about this, so I don't want to get too deep into it yet because I just haven't looked into it too much. But it's very clear to me that the future of this stuff, meaning AI interacting with online, like either with websites or web pages or online services, or in Windows or on a phone or whatever, with whatever apps you might have, is this programmability thing, right? And I have compared this to the work Microsoft did 30 plus years ago on DDE and then Olay and then COM and whatever has come since then. And the idea is that you have an app, in that case, back in the day would be an app running in Windows, but today maybe it's an online service or a website. And there's a way to, it exposes its functionality via these kind of like public interfaces, whatever they are. And now with the AI stuff, AI can use those interfaces to control those things, right? But we're not there yet. So with Comet, for example, I used it to say I want a walking route from my apartment in Mexico City to whatever location, and it literally moved the cursor over to the thing in Google. Loaded Google Maps. It added text to it. When it got it wrong, it fixed it. It went back. It did this thing. It went through the whole thing. It controlled the browser. So I sat there watching it. I could have done it myself. It was no big deal, but it was kind of an interesting early peek at that kind of thing. Microsoft Edge in Copilot mode does something similar, except that it happens in what's very clearly a remote session. So it's a remote view of the browser in a like a form or whatever you want to call it. What do you call it? Like a inset, whatever, in the web page. And it's moving a cursor around. It's typing. It's doing stuff. It went through a CAPTCHA, and it was like, hey, could you just click that box and, let it know it's a human doing this? And I'm like, okay. And I did it, and it didn't work. And it was like, it's okay. I'll do it for you. And it's like, really? But it never actually got by the CAPTCHA. And I don't think it wasn't the Copilot's fault. It was whatever it was, Camel, or whatever service was. They could just tell this is not a human. They were like, this is not a human.
Yeah.
So they were kind of preventing that. But both of those things are examples of an AI-powered web browser, in this case, being used to control web pages, like a web browser or whatever. And interesting. But I think that's the first step. Like eventually it's going to be, we're not going to see the browser. We're not going to do it. It's just going to, it's going to work in the background.
Well, and most part, if you're doing searches now, AI gets the first crack at it anyway.
Yeah. And that's kind of the other thing, right? So with these things, like if you go to copilot.microsoft.com for some reason and you type in a query, you would expect Copilot's going to answer the query, right? It's not going to go to search. But when you do it through the browser, you have maybe a different expectation. And so each of the browsers has a different way of handling that. But in some cases, they're doing a light form of orchestration where, depending on the question you ask, it might give you a search, whatever your default search is. It might give you a chat experience, and then you can converse and kind of go in and do that kind of thing. Each of them is good at something, but I'm not actually sure Edge is good at anything yet. But let me think about that for a second before I just rag on it entirely. But yeah. So, I mean, Comet to me is in some ways it's on Windows for one thing. That helps a lot. Mm-hmm. Dia, to their credit, they've already set up a page or a site for a skills gallery, and skills are basically a way to kind of customize, or not script exactly, although it's kind of scripting, because you can control like the template use for the output it produces. But it's like they have skills. So like one of the skills that they provide, and then you can make your own or edit them, is something called "Explain It to Me Like I'm a 5-year-old."
Is that literally what it's called?
Yeah, which I love.
That's actually great.
Yeah,
Although
right.
maybe, can I get a 10-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
A fifth grader might be better.
So I used it for a couple of different things, but like one of my big struggling points is like quantum computing, and I'm like, all right, so I'll use this, and they use they have I'm forgetting which is which in a way here now, but Dia has @mentions, for example, something I think a lot of Microsoft guys are kind of familiar with now from Outlook. Typically, you can use an @mention, make sure they're emailing a group of people, but the individual you're involved here, he sees or they see that thing that you're highlighting, whatever that might be. So they have @mentions for tabs, which is kind of cool. So as you type a query, you can type @, and then it will drop down with all the tabs that are there.
That's neat.
So it can reference those in kind of a grounding sense. So that's one of the things I did for like the smart speaker comparison, was like I had 2 tabs with speakers and asked them to compare it. And actually that one was really smart because it compared them and said, this is good for this is good for the other one. But then it gave me like this advice at the end and said, actually, if you want to save some money, buy 2 of the smaller one and get a little sub, and it will be less money, but it will sound better than one big speaker that costs more. And it was like, yeah, actually that's true. Like
what site did it steal that from?
I'd have to go back
probably
and look at it.
A direct quote from
Like
some
a
review
review on an Amazon thing. It could be. It was good, but it was good information.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Except that if you were the guy who had the site that took it from, you might not.
Yeah, I mean, having been that
it.
guy, I do understand the complaint. I'm just the way I cope with things is to forget. So,
well, also there are 2 constituencies here, because as an AI user,
right,
you want it to be smart.
That's right.
It did you a big favor.
It was like that, this is a million years ago. It was probably Xbox one time frame. My son texted me one day and he goes, yeah, I read this thing about whatever, something Xbox. And I was just about to write back and be like, yeah, I wrote about this today.
on my site.
And he goes, and I know it's BS because this jackass named Paul Thurrott wrote the story. And I was like, okay.
Oh, he's teasing me.
Like, okay.
All right, kid.
But anyway, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, which is, they use / commands for these things, right? For the skills. You type in whatever it's like EIL5 or something, and then whatever the thing is. And so I asked it about quantum computing, and it spit out more than I expected. And my knee-jerk reaction was like, okay, this is going to be lower level than I wanted. But then as I read it, I thought, you know what?
That's exactly what I needed.
It's pretty good. Like, it's pretty good. And by the way, talking about deterministic, it's like, I just said this, like zeros and ones. It's like, we do have zeros and ones, but zeros can be ones and ones can be zeros, and nobody knows what anything is. And it's like, what is happening? Like, my brain can't handle this. It's like, it could be true, false, or it could be true and false. Mm-hmm. Nope. It's like, it's hard for me, but
let's talk eigenstates. You'll be happy.
Yes. So I thought that was pretty good. And then I used it on one of my own articles that wasn't particularly technical. But it was something long, and I wanted to kind of see how it handled it. And I was, it's pretty good. So
none of Gemini these on Google on a Chrome didn't get mentioned here.
No, because I'm working my way through these things. So what I've started with are the more radical ones, and I'm waiting. I keep hearing back from, like, Opera has this Opera Neon browser that's coming, and
Kagi has Orion, by the way.
Okay, yeah, I've not
which
seen
also
that
has
yet.
the Kagi assistant.
So I'm really curious about this stuff, but yeah. So the next step is actually going to be Google Chrome, right? So if you open Chrome today, it puts a Gemini icon like way up at the top, like in the title bar, which is new. And there's also like the search tabs is nothing, but like I feel like the major platform makers, Google, Apple, Microsoft, are going to be the least aggressive because they don't want to turn off a mainstream audience. Like one of the problems that the browser company ran into with Arc was it was just too much. Like power users were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the 98% of the world who was just normal was like, what is this? And for Dia, you can see that they really scaled it back. Although they're going to add some of those features later, of course. But these are Edge, I'm not sure yet, but Comet and Dia for sure, and probably Opera Neon to some degree. There is an explicit understanding that this is going to change web browsing forever, that we're not really going to be browsing for the most part anymore. We're going to be getting questions to answers, or answers to questions, but we're also going to be using it to send it off to do things for us, right? Like I bought a NAS over the weekend and ordered things, and I researched and did all the stuff. It's going to handle that kind of stuff, or the flight tracking, the kind of common example, whatever. The price tracker thing was kind of interesting. Like Microsoft Edge has a price tracker feature built in.
Yeah.
You have to, it's been there for a long time. You have to go find it. You have to click on it, but it's not hard to use. Like it's not hard, but it's easier, I think, and maybe more, I don't know, obvious for many people just to talk to the thing and say, I want to buy one of these things. Let me know when it gets below whatever, $150 or whatever it is. And then you go off, and in that case, you're not going to hear back in 2 minutes probably, because that speaker's usually a little more expensive. But one day, Black Friday maybe, this thing's going to be on sale, and your browser's going to be like, hey, here we go. You want it? Let's click here. Let's do it. And I do think that's useful. I mean, I think people are going to use this stuff. So I've been kind of on this for a while. Like I've always felt long felt that web browsers, the most important apps we all use, mobile or desktop. They haven't changed much in 20 years.
Yeah.
AI, I think this is finally going to do it.
Well, even if the browser looks the same, what it's talking to is different. And that's already happened. Search isn't search anymore.
I know. Yeah, right. But that's the thing. A lot of the times we didn't really want search,
No, we just wanted answers.
We've turned ourselves into like these automatons that control click. Like you go down the list, you're like click, 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 click. And then you tab over to each browser and you're like, no, maybe. And then you spend time in there and you're like, no. And then, again, with the theory that ultimately what this thing is doing is saving you time. If what you're looking for is the answer to something, whether you're a programmer looking for some coding issue or whatever, searching for a product, a flight, or whatever. I mean, it's even stupid things like comet, right? Which is named after a comet. Like, what's the difference between a comet and a meteorite? And I asked my wife this question, and she's like, she started down some path, and I was like, no, wrong.
God, that's mean.
No. I said, you don't answer that question. We have AI for this. Nobody cares what you think is the difference. The difference is out there, and we can find it out.
Would you have used a Google search in the past to do that?
Yeah, of course.
And probably you would have gotten a source that you said, oh, this one's reliable, this one's not, and chosen the reliable one, and then felt comfortable about the answer. So
search has changed because now, depending on the service you use, you get some kind of a summary at the top. And in this case, that summary is usually what you're going to want. Now, the question is whether you trust the thing.
How do you vet it? Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a simple one. I mean, I feel like most of us are on the cusp of knowing exactly what the difference is, but, or we do literally just know, but, when I read that, I did do this. I in the car, I literally brought this up on something. I don't remember which AI, but, and I was like, yeah, this is the answer. And so like in that case, like asking questions that you already know the answers to is not really a good feature, but it's how we get started on these things. I think it's going to be used for that kind of stuff. My son, not to keep bringing him up for some reason, but like a million years ago when he had to have been 3, 5, something really young. He said, someone should invent this thing where you ask it any question, it gives you the answer. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be delighted to know that Google search exists. And it might have even been Alta Vista at that point. I have no idea. It was a long time ago. But and today, that thing is these AIs, right? This is where we're going to turn for answers. God help us all. But yeah. So I think making something familiar makes sense. But I also think these things are going to change pretty dramatically. And then there's a link in the notes here. I don't know. It says some bigger UI changes are on the way. There's a guy on X/Twitter or whatever who discovered that Microsoft is potentially screwing around with the UI for Edge, and it's probably for this Copilot mode, which is just going to be the mode, right? It's going to be, and I'm looking at this now. I might even have this might be the wrong link, but maybe it's further down. Yeah, it's the Olympia, Windows, and Edge. So again, it's recognizable as a web browser. It's, the UI is definitely a little different, it's a little more centered and whatever, but maybe.
So this is them doing the same thing as these other guys are doing, which is an AI first browser.
I feel like it's inevitable, right?
Yeah,
so Richard asked me about Chrome. I'm actually going to look at that one next. But like I said, if you look at Chrome right now, you get this kind of button at the top, which makes it somewhat, you see it. So you might click on it. And if you do, it gives you some info. It's like, hey, Gemini's in Chrome. It's your AI assistant. All of these things have like keyboard shortcuts now. So if you're using Chrome, let's see what this does. Yeah, you type, this is very much like whatever they call it, an Edge Quick Assist or whatever. So like, in Edge today, if you're not in Copilot mode, you get like a sidebar for Copilot. In Copilot mode, I think it's called, what is it called? Edge Assist or something or whatever. It's basically the pane, but it's like a little pop down thing that comes over on the side. And the Gemini panel or whatever this thing is called looks exactly like this. Like they've added some kind of Gemini capabilities here. It's over the thing you're looking at a little bit, but not too bad. So it's not side by side. I think side by side would be a little better. But it gives you some little prompts like like ask me about the page. Like you're gonna I want a summary of this thing. I want, if it's a video, a PDF or whatever, long Thurrott premium article, whatever it is. You're like, can we just cut this thing to the chase? Like what is this about? And that's, we're just looking for an answer here, right? So yeah, I mean, it's fine.
You just got to figure out if you trust that answer and how you're going to validate that answer.
Yep. Well, Leo's about to talk to the guy who's in charge of the models for Google or whatever. I would ask it. Woman. So ask them, how do we trust?
Yeah.
How do we trust these things? I don't know. Well, but I think for most of us, what happens is you get enough in the way of good answers where you're like, all right. Yeah, I don't think you even think it explicitly. I think trust is something you build over time, and it just happens. And
is it just stepping up what we already really need to do in the internet era, which is kind of being what I was talking about before, kind of critical thinking, like being more careful about vetting the information we're getting. Mm-hmm. It's just that.
Aren't you worried, though,
this has been an overall problem with the internet. Now that we have far more information available to us, it really matters that information is accurate.
You see what half of our country believes. You can see the impact of not vetting sources and just trusting what you hear from a so-called expert or whatever. This is going to continue to be a problem and probably be a worse problem. I don't know. I definitely, I haven't been bit enough that I'm like, I've just stopped trusting totally. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I see estimates that you're getting 20% hallucination or whatever, and I don't get that. It doesn't feel like I'm getting that.
I got 40% from my wife when I asked her what a comet was.
Well, that's true. I don't ask people for directions on the street because I know they'll be wrong.
Right, and you've got a tool that will give you accurate answers for that.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
and that tool's made by the company.
I'm working with devs now that are using AI coding modes at incredible speeds to produce huge amounts of applications. And the proof is in the pudding that they're deployed and doing what the users wanted.
Right. That's the thing. Leo just showed a really good example of this. The thing Leo wanted that was in, he may have only had half an idea or whatever the notion was.
I did. I had half an idea.
But then you,
exactly right.
maybe,
and then I iterated it.
Meaning you didn't
with the AI.
Start with what you ended up with. Like you weren't like, I want to get there. Yeah, as you started doing it, you were like, oh, this is kind of cool. What can I do this?
And I could iterate. Right. And it's a conversation with the AI.
Yeah. So this is exciting. Now, in your case, like you actually know how to write programs and things like that. But, this is something like people can do now that they were just never going to do before, you know?
Well, I can write code, but I wouldn't have done this either.
Yeah. And this
it's too trivial to spend any energy on.
Right. But okay. But it still gives you, every day you turn it, it comes on. And you're
I will now have the weather report.
And you're like, like it.
Great.
Like it's nice.
Yeah.
And there is no thing like this out in the world that you could have just gotten. Like you created something completely unique that you wanted, that you like, and now you can use every day. And is there a better example of like democratization of technology? I mean,
it's remarkable.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So you're getting now if the phase of the moon is wrong in your little grid there, it's not a problem. No one dies. If you're asking it about, I have like a red bump on my arm, or should I put all of my 401k money into like a Bitcoin or whatever?
Excellent point.
You want to, you got to be careful there. But
I'm disturbed by some of the questions people are asking these AI. Can you read my coffee grounds to tell me if my husband is cheating on me? Why are you asking that question?
Like, go to the door immediately. He is cheating on you. And you get up and you're like, wait, what the hell's happening? What would make you, but if someone is asking a question like that, and God help us, they probably are. Mm-hmm. I mean, you found your audience. I mean, I'm sure this thing is talking to those people in a way that they enjoy, and without the sidelong looks.
Because as soon as they changed it, they freaked out.
Right. I don't know what to say to something like that, but I don't know. I'm going to ask it for relationship advice. I'll be out in the street in 2 seconds, which is actually kind of a miracle. It hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to look at Google next. Like I said, now that I have this kind of background with these other things, and I've seen like some of the stuff, like the skills thing in DIA is particularly interesting to me. Comet already just works with public websites. You can do things like, like you have your morning summary. Like one of the things you could do with regards to that is like, here's the email. Here's the most important emails you got overnight. Like you got 17 emails, but 2 of them are actually really important.
That's actually a really good point.
Comet is very good at that.
Yeah. I could start to think about, okay, well now I could do that. Maybe I could add more to that.
Yeah. The problem is, not the problem, a problem, like one problem, like, and especially with my audience is like, I've told the story about back in the day when Microsoft added Cortana to Windows 10, some guy emailed me or whatever, and he said, yeah, he's like, this damn thing asked me, I give it permission to my calendar, my contacts, my blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's your personal assistant. Like, this is the relationship. If you don't want that, you can't not do that. Like right? So when I did this, like, for example, I had to sign in with my Google account and give it access to my email and my calendar. My email. And so it could do those things. And some guy, sure enough, in comments is like, I mean, do you trust Perplexity with your, information in your Google account? I'm like, trust is a strong word. I knew what I was doing when I said yes. I mean, I wanted to see if it would work or how it would work and what that looked like. And, do I trust that when I get in the car, it's not going to explode when I drive out to the mailbox, or there's different levels of trust, I guess. I don't know. But if you're going to do this, you have to trust something. Unfortunately,
sure. I mean, but you're also pressing against the larger issue. Is why do all these companies want a browser? Why did Perplexity even make that offer? Because they need the front end data feed. This is not about serving the customer. This is about collecting data.
Even for me, man, that's kind of cynical. But yeah, no, I mean, yes, you're of course 100% right. But in a good bartering situation, you should get something that as the customer, you should get some benefit from it as well. Right?
Yes, you're going to be part of the robotic overflow. It's great.
That's right. You will be suctioned into the matrix machine just like every other meat bag. Yeah, but I don't even know what to say to this. I mean, you're right. Like you're 100% right. But the less cynical way to look at that, and I'm not denying what you said. Like you're correct. Is when Google made Chrome, the reason was we can't trust Microsoft, Google, Apple to make a browser that meets our needs. Our business is web-based. This thing has to work. And so we finally realized we're going to have to do this ourselves. And the first thing anyone would have said about Chrome when it first came out was like, this thing is really fast. Like it's really, they were really good at that. They were like, we're going to get that part of it right. Now, today, Chrome it's still fast, I guess, but it's whatever data collecting monster, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
and a software proxy monster. You've got 60 instances of Chrome whether you knew it or not.
Yes, right. So when I look at these AI companies, whether it's Perplexity or Anthropic, OpenAI, who's rumored to be doing a browser as well, what's their aside from what Richard said, which is true, like what's the dynamic here? And I think it's similar. It's like, look, we're looking at a world that's going to be different than the world today. We can't trust these big browser makers to change the world because they have their business models and they're stuck. And honestly, Comet or Dia, they're not so radical that they're like, oh my God, this is a different thing, but the goal is to kind of get it there. And I feel like, Microsoft, Google, Apple maybe will get there. They'll kind of limp along in the background a little bit and they'll get there on their own schedules.
Still tried to buy, they even made the offer to buy, Chromium is open source. Get to work. I bet you can use an AI to help you build a browser in pretty short order.
Well, they did. I mean, that's what Comet is, right? So they did. Yeah. They do in fact have it. I actually, for the most part, I mean, I've been using Comet every day since I got it. Whenever that was, a week, 10 days ago. There is a bar that it meets that I think is really important because my wife has also been using it, and she uses Chrome. She doesn't think about this stuff. She doesn't care, and. She adopted. I gave her a laptop that had Windows 11 on it, and she used it. And then like a month later, I was like, so everyone I know complains about Windows 11. Do you have anything to say? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it's running Windows 11. She's like, okay. Didn't even notice. So she doesn't care.
Nope.
And her commentary on Comet was kind of similar. She's like, it looks like Chrome, like it's fine. Like it works. And the big difference is when you type a query, normally as you would in the address bar, let's say, but on the new tab page, whatever, you can, from the dropdown, choose to go to Google search if that's what you want. But if you just hit enter, it's going to go through the AI. And she's like, depending on what I'm doing, like, she's already picked this up. She's like, I know sometimes I do want a Google search for whatever reason, but sometimes I'm looking for an answer to something, whatever it might be, whatever she's doing. And she's like, yeah, no, this works. She likes it. And she's just normal. She's normal. She's not a technical person.
Yeah, that's how normal people react. I'm just trying to get my work done. I don't care about the rest.
Yeah. Right. It's like, don't try to help, but dear God, do not get in the way. Like, just let me do what I'm doing. And I think that's where Arc, I think, failed a lot of people and why they're rethinking things with Dia. And when that product is, like I said, is very similar, but it's just not on Windows yet. So it's a little harder to use, or unless you have a Mac, then it's fine. But yeah, I think these things, they're interesting. They're half steps. They're recognizable as browsers, but I think that was part of the agreement. Like, we know no one's going to do this, and like we can't just throw up this thing that's all spiky and weird looking. Like, it has to look like a browser, do the browser stuff. It does tabs, it does everything. Like, everything you need that all just works. Hate these phrases like table stakes or whatever. It's a browser. Oh, but it does these other things. So I don't know. We'll see.
Mostly provides telemetry to the host company.
We're going to pause for a little bit. There is so much more to talk about, but we need to take a
Are we going to talk about how cynical Richard is? Because my God, no, I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
God, can you believe this guy? No.
It's out of control.
No, he's absolutely true. He's right. He's right.
When you're right, you're right. Yeah. Our show today brought to you by ThreatLocker. Oh, I love these guys. Ransomware, it's just killing businesses everywhere, right? I don't have to tell you that. ThreatLocker actually has tools that work to prevent you from becoming the next victim. ThreatLocker's Zero Trust platform takes a proactive, and this is the key, Zero Trust, deny by default approach. So every unauthorized action is blocked. Unless you explicitly authorize it, it's blocked. That works so well to protect you from known and even unknown threats 0 days. That's why enterprises that are mission critical, can't afford to be hit by ransomware use ThreatLocker. Companies like JetBlue. You're an airline, you can't afford 1 minute of downtime, let alone a couple of weeks. JetBlue uses ThreatLocker or infrastructure plays. The Port of Vancouver, just down the road from Richard, uses ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker shields you from zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks, and provides you with complete audit trails for compliance. So it's awesome. One of the techniques now that we're seeing more of, Steve was talking about this, is malvertising. That's the term they use. And for malvertising, you need more than just traditional security tools. What's happening is attackers create very convincing fake websites impersonating popular brands like AI tools, software applications. We were talking yesterday about impersonating commonly used libraries in programming environments. Then they distribute links to this through social media ads and hijacked accounts. They're literally using legitimate ad networks to deliver this malware. And you see the ad, you go, oh, that looks great. You click the link and boom, anyone who browses on a work system is going to trigger this attack. This is why it's so hard nowadays. If your job is to protect the network, traditional security tools often miss these attacks because they use fileless payloads. They run in memory. They exploit trusted services. They bypass typical filters, your perimeter defenses, but they don't bypass zero trust. ThreatLocker's innovative ring fencing technology strengthens endpoint defense. It's very simple, really. It controls what applications, what scripts can access or execute, right? Which means if you haven't specifically said that malvertising is okay, which you haven't, it ain't getting anywhere. It contains potential threats. Even if malicious ads successfully reach the device, they're not going to be able to do their work. ThreatLocker works in every industry. It supports every environment, works on Macs as well as Windows, provides 24/7 US-based support, so you're never on your own. And as a side effect, but it's a really beneficial one, it enables comprehensive visibility. So you have a record of everything that's happened. Complete control. Ask Jack Senesap. He's director of IT infrastructure and security at Redner's Markets. Another place that really, they don't want to get hit. Nobody wants to get hit by ransomware, right? He says, quote, when it comes to ThreatLocker, the team stands by the product. ThreatLocker's onboarding phase was a very good experience, and they were very hands-on. ThreatLocker was able to help me and guide me to where I am in our environment today, end quote. Get unprecedented protection quickly, easily, and cost-effectively, surprisingly cost-effectively. I thought, wow, this is a good deal with ThreatLocker. Visit threatlocker.com/twit, get a free 30-day trial. Learn more about how ThreatLocker can help mitigate unknown threats and ensure compliance. That's threatlocker.com/twit. We thank him so much for supporting Windows Weekly. Threatlocker.com/twit. You support us when you go to that address. Threatlocker.com/twit. All right, Richard's back and synchronized
for the moment.
I'm going to show you because I got the little key working. Let's just see. I hit Control W. Where are we today? So the idea was I want to have this as a diary of my travels, right? But let's say today I'm in Madeira Park. Let's see what the weather is where Richard is.
Oh, it's very nice.
It is 80 degrees the high, 64 the low, partly sunny. Sunset 6:05 a.m. Sunrise, sunset 8:36 p.m. and the moon is a waning gibbous.
Oh, right. So we were in Uber last night, driving toward the sunset, and I was like, I'm like, it looks like the sun's setting. I'm like, what time does sunset? And Stephanie's like, I'm not really sure. I'm like, this is a question for AI. I could ask AI this thing. So I asked, and it was like 5:41, which was the time at the time. And I'm like, nope, wrong. It was like 6:50.
So close. The way this does,
just made it up.
This queries an API for a weather system, which is Open Meteo. It's called or Meteo. But you can use the National Weather Service. A variety of, if you have an API key, there's Open Weather. So it queries and gets it from a reliable source. So you don't have to worry about it. It's accurate.
That's
I
always the
mentioned
challenge.
the moon phase was a problem. It couldn't, I don't know, maybe the server wasn't working right or whatever. It's supposed to give you that information. It couldn't, but it figured out how to calculate it. It's a little rougher. It's good enough for me. And it's been accurate. So it is waxing or waning gibbous. We just had a full moon. I think that's
we
right.
had orcas swim right by the boathouse while I was away, so I have video clips of that.
Yeah. Is 8:36? It's the correct sunset time for me. It seems a little. Well, you're farther north than me.
Yeah,
8:36.
it sets later than that.
Okay, so maybe that is incorrect, or maybe it's not Madeira Park, BC. Maybe I don't know. Are there other Madeira parks in the world? I didn't put BC.
There are.
Oh, well, maybe it's some other Madeira.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Actually, the actual sunset time was probably 7:50, not 6:50. But whatever time it was not the time. It was
yeah.
come on, man.
Come on, man. Anyway, I just thought I'd show off my code that I did not write.
No, but it's great.
But it's so nice to have that in my diary.
I just checked it. It said 8:36, so I second sourced it for you. Yeah.
Oh, all right. There you go. And is it 80 degrees this afternoon?
Easily, yeah. It's very nice there.
Nice. I mean, that's the one thing that, weather forecasts. There's no authoritative source for the actual forecast. It's all a guess.
No.
Right.
It is a forecast.
That is local time. Somebody's asking. Yeah, it's local time. Because what it does is it takes the place I looked and it figures out GPS coordinates and then goes by GPS coordinates and gets local time.
I think mine did a random number generator and turned it into like a clock format. I don't know what the heck that was, but it was useless.
Anyway,
Siri, is it raining? Anyway.
There's a little more AI news.
Yeah, just a couple of quick things, two Microsoft things. So Copilot 3D is a feature of Copilot where you can turn a still image into a 3D model.
How does that work? Well,
Magic computing. I don't know.
No, I know how. I mean, but does it work well? Is more like what I was.
I've not used this and never will.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I should never say never will, but I've not done this, and I don't. This is eerily reminiscent of that creators update nonsense.
That's where that 3D stuff came from.
Yeah, it's like we have this stuff around. Can we use this for anything? It's like, ooh, put it in Copilot. Yeah,
Copilot will eat anything.
Yeah, it's an experimental tool at this point. I'll map.
I think they were trying to be important in the 3D printing space, but by the time they got there, it was a solved problem, right? There's a set of software that everybody uses, and they're not interested in changing.
Right.
Oh, that's right. They did that whole, what was it, the educators update or?
No, the creators update. Yeah, they had Paint
That's
3D and 3D Remix. Remember, was a website,
right.
Remix 3D, I guess. I don't know. They try. I don't know. I've never understood anything that they do. All right, let me get rid of that. I almost signed into that thing, and then this is a great example of what the audience is like too. It's Microsoft is killing its Lens app. So Lens app, Microsoft Lens started as Office Lens. It was for Windows Phone. That's how far back that is. But within a year, they brought a version to Android and iOS, renamed it at some point to Microsoft Lens. The key use case for me for this was to photograph a receipt, like when you were doing business travel and you wanted to send in the expense, because you could just take it, it's sitting there on the whatever surface, you take a picture, it's like at an angle and it straightens it out, makes it perfect.
Flattens it.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Makes it very legible.
Yeah,
I've done it on whiteboards, and it even got rid of a light bloom off the whiteboard.
Right.
See, this was an impressive piece of software.
Yeah. Back in the day, I remember I was in a meeting. I think it was actually at Microsoft on the campus, but whatever it was, they're drawing on the whiteboard. And some guy's like, this is why I have a tablet PC. I can recreate the whiteboard experience. And I was like, oh, that's great.
Click.
But keep drawing there, Rembrandt. I'm sure that's smart. I think just it was the OCR stuff. It would take the text, bring in it. It was nice. Yeah. So this functionality is pretty much all available in the Copilot app or the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. So they're going to just consolidate it down. And
it's also part of a push by Satya to retire out-of-date software.
Yeah.
As much as it annoys us, it's even worse that they were keeping a lot of this stuff around.
Yeah.
For far too long.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of fans of this app, though. I mean, and I think I've heard from all of them.
Yep.
So that's good. Curious what Richard
learn a new way to
thinks
do it.
about this one. So GitHub is am I right? A wholly owned subsidiary of Microsoft, but it's independently operated. It's like
not so fast, Paulie.
It's like the mom and pop of software development shops on the internet. I've made the case Microsoft's a good steward, blah, 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 whatever.
And Thomas Demke took over from Nat Friedman back in the day, right? Friedman,
Nat Friedman went where?
Went off to an AI startup.
Okay.
A while ago.
Yeah, not a big company that we've all heard of, but
he went off to make something new. But he was part of the Xamarin acquisition. He created Xamarin in the first place with Miguel, and they both joined Microsoft, but they went in immediately different directions inside of Microsoft.
Right.
Miguel went off to the distinguished engineer path and dealt with a bunch of interesting things, eventually got frustrated and left. And Nat went
surprised he
down
lasted
the management
as long as
path.
he did.
I did too. Matt went down the VP path and was involved really on the Azure DevOps side, like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then as Brian Harry stepped away for a leave, which is just about the time that they bought GitHub, and then Nat was installed as the CEO down there, reporting up to Julia Lucen through DevDiv. And then when Nat moved on,
and that's
Thomas Demke
that's
took
an important point, by the way. So
it is
GitHub, independent in whatever ways, but the CEO reported to someone from DevDiv.
Yes.
So
the
now,
head of DevDiv, the VP.
The head of DevDiv.
Yeah.
So the person who replaced Nat is
Thomas Demke.
He's the guy who's leaving, he'll be leaving later this year.
Yeah.
And there's some troubling language in this announcement. One of them is, we have decided not to replace him. They're not going to have a CEO of GitHub, apparently. I guess AI will be the CEO of GitHub, or what's happening?
Their director of operations should be the number 2, is now reporting up through Asha, who's the head of ops for AI under Jay Parikh,
which is the new organization.
The new CoreAI, which also owns DevDiv.
So there's no way to make sense of this, but I'll do my best. About a year and a half ago, Microsoft hired Suleiman, what's his first name? Mustafa Suleiman, away from, I'm losing my mind with all these AI company names. But I must have it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, and brought most of the team with him. What the frick is the name of that company? Anyway, started what was described as a new Microsoft AI organization that was kind of outside of other stuff, right?
It was the goal. It was Satya's first attempt at how to do consumer AI, because we suck at consumer AI.
Yes, and
so
also
he basically gutted DeepMind to do this.
DeepMind, thank you.
He took all the DeepMind.
It was like an acqui-hire thing. The interesting, one of the many interesting things there was the Sam Altman stuff had just happened at OpenAI, and there was that moment where Microsoft was like, "We have invested tens of billions."
That's when we saw Dark Satya.
Yep, and that's when this started, right? And so the first big overt move was Mustafa Suleiman and what's called Microsoft AI. In October of last year, so 6 months later, they hired Jay. I'm terrible with these names. What's the guy's name?
Parikh. Yeah,
Parikh. So he looks like a little mini Satya. He came, I believe, from Meta.
Yes, he was CEO of a company called Lovelace, I think.
Yeah, that sounds
right. Laceworks.
Okay, that sounded. I was going to say,
which was a security company that failed brutally.
Okay. And he's, Microsoft since this time is engaged in the kind of activities, Meta's been accused of, where they're throwing a lot of money, like big money, at AI experts from different companies. They've apparently hired a bunch of people from like Google DeepMind, actually. But at that time, anyway, they hired him, and that's another new AI organization, which is what? AI Core.
CoreAI. Yeah.
CoreAI. So that's the part of the company that GitHub is now under. So it used to be under DevDiv.
Well, DevDiv is in CoreAI as well.
Okay. But now it's okay. So now,
my guess here is that they told Thomas Demke he'd now be reporting to Jay, and he said, "How about no?"
Interesting. That's curious. I'm curious why he would even feel strongly about that.
Well, here's the logical thing. you can reasonably hang your hat on, I was the CEO when we created GitHub Copilot. I want my $1 billion, please. And he's basically said point blank, I'm going to go set up a startup.
Okay. Interesting.
So things aren't going the way you like. You're thinking about something else. And it's like, I would argue it's almost too late to set up an AI startup now. Like we're kind of at the end of that. This would be the last chance. He's probably waited a bit too long.
Okay.
What my sense of it, the way I read it was Microsoft is absorbing GitHub into their larger corpus.
They want one overall AI strategy.
Or as we would describe it, the blob from the movie The Blob, that it grows bigger as it absorbs everything around it. That kind of thing.
Well, you have that classic crazy belief that if I pile enough stuff in a heap, maybe it'll turn into something.
Oh man, that was part of the deterministic conversation, which is one of the weirdisms of AI, which is you ask it a question, it gives you an answer, and you ask it again, it gives you a different answer because it's never the same. You know, I mean, hopefully it's in the ballpark or something, but it's never exactly the same. Like it's not like, oh, I've answered this. This is the answer. It's like it works on it every single time.
Yeah. Well. See, there was a lot in the early days of LLMs. There was a couple of papers that really focused on this idea of if we just get the data set big enough, it'll get really great. And then as we actually got the data set big enough, what we found out is there's just too many symmetrical probabilities. And so you can get all kinds of results. Like there's not enough granularity in the probability stack to actually get that. And so now we're kind of pushing the other way and getting into much more specific sets of data so that it's very consistent on its specialty. A series of smaller LLMs maybe orchestrated together by
or
something that
grounded in whatever data set, and that makes that tends to be a good way to make,
which is also tends to be how technology is mature. You grow. Okay, this is a bit too big. Now you refine, and we seem to be getting into this refining point.
Yeah. Huh. So in your view, Richard, did Microsoft just absorb GitHub? Because that is what I've.
I think that's the intent. We'll see what happens. A, they're down in the Silicon Valley. They're not in Seattle or Redmond. Right. B, they have been, I'm not going to say a thorn in the side, but they're very much aware that they aren't all Microsoft. Right, that they're part of the larger open source community, that there's hugely a number of other communities that are tightly associated with them, that many perceive Microsoft as a threat. And that hands off, like putting Nat Friedman in the first place was all about, because he was also from the Valley, keeping that same culture in place. And Demke
open source background and
and Demke was Hockey App. He was also from that area. Like that's the way things have been. Now nominally, so is Jay.
Right.
But I don't know that anybody feels that way about Jay.
Yeah. I feel like he's kind of an unknown, frankly, but
what I'm hearing is he's hired a lot of his meta buddies, and they're trying to do meta things inside of the company. And folks are like, because those guys are wildly successful.
Well, you could argue what Microsoft needs is more tech bros.
There you go.
You could, but that would be stupid.
You know what this Redmond area needs? A little more Valley.
More bro. Yeah, we need more bro.
There we go. Extra bro.
Can we get some more flip-flops up here?
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this personally.
Yeah, I have held my judgment on Jay because I did feel like DevNiv needed a shakeup, and the fact that they were going to focus it on around AI to do that, fine. But in the end, we needed to move forward on some things that weren't happening, and maybe this is the way to move forward. I have a sneaky suspicion he's feeling the fire hose right now, is the polite term, because he's been dealing with companies who do one thing or maybe five things.
Microsoft is a multi-headed hydra.
Yeah. Welcome to the 200 things, right?
Yeah,
like
I can't even imagine.
It's part of the problem, right? Like one of the ways that Microsoft has moved so quickly in the cloud is to give their teams an awful lot of freedom to build things. The byproduct of that is they've all built them differently. And now, as you expect reliability from the cloud, they're conflicting with each other.
Yep.
And so there needs to be more governance. They need to rein things in. And Jay also has that air about him of he's the heavyweight that's going to straighten stuff out. I just don't know that he's in the right job. I would have been really interested to see that guy own the Azure infrastructure problem, not the AI problem.
Right.
It's not up to me, and they didn't ask.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens there. I think most people, even people that don't trust Microsoft, would say they've done a good job with GitHub so far.
By staying hands off. So now that they're not going to, by all accounts, what does this mean?
Right.
So I think it's worth taking a breath and watching what happens rather than just hauling all your stuff and running off the GitLab, which of course still runs on Azure anyway, but whatever.
Right. Okay. This is not a big deal, but I mentioned it because I have one of these computers and I'm glad to see this happen. And finally, so Surface Laptop 7, which is the year ago Surface Laptop, right? The first gen Snapdragon X, whatever. And Surface Pro 11, which is essentially the same computer, but in a different body. Get the same firmware updates, just like, 24, 25 H2 get the same monthly updates or whatever. And this one is, I don't have it here in front of me. This is a hard thing to describe, but there's a battery saver feature that's in Windows 11. Mm-hmm. You'll never see it because it doesn't get exposed in settings anywhere and you can't configure it. But if your computer supports it, the OEM that makes it will have their own software that provides some interface to it. And in the Microsoft world, the Surface app was that app. And so if you went into the Surface app, you may or may not see something called, I think it's called Smart Power or Smart Battery or whatever, the battery saver or whatever the term is. And you don't see it all the time. So it's a weird feature. So you get a brand new Surface laptop, maybe in my case, you use it for a month. This feature's not there. But then one day you've used it enough and it says, all right, we got some data here. We know how you're using the computer. We're going to turn this thing on. And you can't do anything about it. All you can do is turn it off temporarily. And so what it does is it's like intelligent charging. So if you're in a hotel and you're going to fly at 4:00 in the morning the next day, you do not want intelligent charging. You want
a full battery.
Yeah. You don't want it to think about it. You want it just to do it. And if you had a Surface and you were thinking about that, you could go into the app and say, today I'm turning it off, and it would be okay today and would go back to the way it was before later. So they just changed that so that you have 3 choices now. And so it can do that. It can do nothing, or it can always charge to 80%, which for some reason is the accepted industry standard for.
This almost feels like fallout from EVs, right? That, hey, batteries last a lot longer if you only charge them to 80%.
Yep. So you can now, as an individual, determine what you want. So basically what they did was they had this stupid Windows 11 feature, and now they're not using it anymore. So good. So that's good. Okay. I guess we're ready for games.
We're not going to talk about the game assist in Edge and just how much love I'm getting on the IT spaces for this. God.
I mean, this would be the time we could throw it into because it's kind of game related.
It is game related. Yeah.
Yeah. So what Richard is describing as the type of thing we've seen in this space with Microsoft for a long, long time. One of the earliest versions of this to me was when they put IIS I think it was the first or second version into a feature pack for Windows NT 4.0.
The NT option pack.
Yeah, option pack. And you had to get Internet Explorer. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So you get this bulletproof operating system, and we're going to screw it up bad. And so what's the latest for what's happening with Game Assist?
So Game Assist is deployed as part of an Edge update, and it deployed to anywhere that Edge exists, including like domain controller PCs running Server 2022.
But why do you hate gaming so much?
Don't do a lot of gaming on my domain controller. But the real issue is that it's not only is it installed automatically with the Edge update, which happens automatically, but it runs automatically. And on many of these lockdown machines, which is what you normally do with a domain controller, it crashes automatically. And then your SIEM software, your security management software, notices that you have a piece of software repeatedly crashing on servers that wasn't there before and flags it as malware, which actually it is. So then you go and say, well, where the hell did this come from? And you uninstall it. And guess what happens next week? Edge updates again and puts it back. Yeah. So they're a little growly. And this has been going on for about 2 months now.
That is amazing.
It's really a thing.
Yay, Internet.
Yay.
We win again.
Yeah, they try. Do they try? I don't know. Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately the answer is you can't run Edge on a server anymore until they fix this, right? And that creates a whole other host of problems.
Yep.
Often those are the machines that they're not only still running Edge, but they're running Edge in IE9 mode, right? They set the flags to support some internal piece of software that still doesn't work in conventional browser configuration. Like, heaven help them, they're running it in IE7 mode, but that's possible. So you really can't get it out.
Yep.
Apparently, if you actually truly run core editions of 2025, which basically is UX less, it's not a problem there.
Because you don't. Yeah. So I know Microsoft well enough to know exactly how this is going to play out. Microsoft later this year will create something called Microsoft Edge in Edge mode, and Edge in Edge mode will not do any of those end user things. It will just provide like a really basic browser. And then as soon as they announce this, because it's only going to be for servers and it's only going to be for public facing servers, especially whatever, they're going to be people like us, people watching the show are like, oh, that's the version of Edge I want. And it's like,
but, I mean, it's not that hard to detect. Hey, this is a server version of the OS. I should just not install this piece on Edge.
You speak logic, and I don't understand why, because it's just not the world we live in. But you're right. I mean, you're right. This is something that never should have happened. So
no,
I'm sure they'll get there. Or am I? I don't know. Okay, so we did a bunch of earnings stuff. Past couple of weeks. There's probably more coming, but in the past week, the big one was Sony, and I only pay attention to not so much to their life insurance company, but to the video game stuff they do. So Sony sold. Yeah, well,
that's actually their money-making arm.
A lot of their revenue comes out of life insurance. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre company. But they have media stuff, right? They have music and movies and whatever. But I don't really care about anything but video games in this case. So 2.5 million PS5s in the quarter. They've now sold over 80 million. Put this in perspective. The way they say it is like it's on a faster pace than the PS4, but the PS4 sold, I think it was 123, something like that, or 120, somewhere there, 115, 120. Like they're probably never going to get there per se, but the Xbox 360 and the PS3, which were pretty much neck and neck for most of that generation, both sold somewhere in the 88 million units. So it's probably going to go by that. And honestly, given, the pandemic launch and component shortages and yada, 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 it's super expensive. It's doing pretty good. The problem is, as I looked into this, of course, we know Nintendo is getting very close to the original Switch being like the best-selling console of all time. They'll probably cross that milestone sometime this year. How's Microsoft doing? And it's like, you never see...
Didn't you see everything's an Xbox?
In that sense, they're doing great. But if you actually look at Xboxes, they're not doing great. So the estimate now, and this is based on some combination of private and public data, is that full generation Xbox Series X and S has sold somewhere in the 20 million units. So 21 to 29 million units.
Wow.
Which is low, which is bad. And I think I made this comment. In fact, I did. I was talking about they finally provided some numbers on revenues, and if you went back far enough, you could get down to zero. Because now that we have a number, we can go back and look at this quarter it's up this percent, and we can just go back in time and see where we're at. Right. It's hard to do this with Xbox because we never got a hard number. They stopped doing hard numbers in the Xbox One generation, but the sheer number of quarters in a row where it's been like a double-digit decline in revenue in hardware is like I don't even understand how it could keep going like this. Like at some point, you just did zero and we sold zero, so we're doing pretty good. Like it's not, but that's not what happens. It's like 22%, 40%, 13%, 22%. Like it's bizarre to me. Yeah. So 21, we'll call it 25 million-ish, somewhere in there, 25, 30, if you want to be, give them the benefit of the doubt. That's not great. Like this is the worst ever, really.
And there's no sign of a new one because they basically want to get out of the hardware biz.
Yes. But we do have two very interesting Windows 11 on ARM related Xbox/gaming stories that are not just good news, but maybe, given the stuff we've talked about with coming consoles, whatever, might point to that future, right? This notion that they really, really, really want to get this stuff on ARM, One just happened. So this is kind of interesting, like literally right before the show, Microsoft announced something that I was actually just struggling with over the weekend, which is that if you have a Windows on ARM laptop, like a Copilot Plus PC running Snapdragon X processor, the Xbox app is there. And if you don't have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is the version that gives you the PC side and the console side, but also the game streaming side, this app doesn't do anything. There's nothing there. Like all you can do is stream games over the internet. And so my argument there was always like, I don't understand this. There are games that do run okay on Windows 11 ARM. Why wouldn't it just show you the games that it knows would maybe run or whatever, at least give you the option? Because if you're on a normal x64 PC and you go into the Xbox app, what it's supposed to do is say, like, you're looking at Call of Duty maybe, and it's like, this app or this game will run on your computer, that kind of thing. Like they have this kind of data, like they know. So I never understood why they just never made it available. Right. And so over the weekend, I wanted to download the thing that will be my eventual app pick, so I won't discuss that quite yet. But there's no reason this shouldn't run on ARM. And it's not in the Xbox app, of course, because they just don't put that stuff there. And I went to the store and I'm like, well, maybe I can get it here. And nope, it doesn't show up because it's, they're filtering the view. But then today, literally 2 days later, they announced they're bringing game downloading to the Xbox app on Windows 11 on ARM. And I actually already have it. So you have to sign into you download I don't have it on this computer. I keep doing this. The Xbox Insider app from the store. If you're not signed into this already, you can go in through the various programs you can maybe join. And one of them is the PC beta. And when you sign into that, you go to the store, check for updates. You get a new version of the Xbox app, and it will give you this kind of pre-release version of the Xbox app. And like I said, I think it was 3 days ago, max, for this game, not there. I brought it up today and it came right up. It's there. Not all of them. I haven't looked that thoroughly, but a lot of the games that I have available to me through Game Pass, or maybe they're in my library because I purchased them, are now there. And that's good stuff. Like this is an important step. Again, like I can't quite understand why this wasn't there a year ago, but this is a big deal and it's really good. So I'm going to be writing more about this after I can compare what's not there. I'm kind of curious. Like I'm pretty sure like Call of Duty, I probably couldn't put that on my base level, Snapdragon X laptop over here, but it'd be kind of amazing if I could actually, but someday. The other one is a software incompatibility. So again, about a year ago, like one of the big complaints about Snapdragon X and Windows 11 on ARM was that a lot of games wouldn't play because they require this anti-cheat software, which is very x64 specific and somehow tied.
Very Ring Zero.
Yeah, right. It's tied at a very low level to that architecture. And so Epic Games makes the easy anti-cheat software that's, Fortnite, obviously, but a bunch of third-party software as well. And I think it was back in March, they and Qualcomm said, we're partnering, we're going to bring this there, and Fortnite will be the first game. Like when we get this going, we're going to do it. And yesterday they announced it's available. So not Fortnite, nice. Fortnite's not there, but the software. So if you're a developer, it literally involves just upgrading to the latest version of two system components that are part of this easy anti-cheat system. And you get this instant compatibility with Snapdragon X, Windows 11 on ARM. So that's big. Both those things are really big. So that's really
It's a milestone that makes gaming the big complaint on ARM was gaming. So that probably should deal with a bunch of it.
Yeah.
You still should recompile the apps for ARM.
Yes. And that's part of why I'm kind of curious what's going on in the Xbox app, because I've downloaded a couple of things already and I'm going to do some more. And it's like, okay, so this stuff was never available and now it's just there. And the one thing I tried before the show, at the one time I had the chance to do, because again, it just happened, like ran instantly and perfectly and is fine. And it's like, okay, why didn't we have this a year ago? Like this, It seems like it was there, but I don't know if there was a huge lift of code or not, or, I literally have no idea.
Had to actually get those guys to focus long enough to go, oh, just fix this and this. So
but I do think, like, we've talked about this. I think this is tied to the future of the Xbox, which is, kind of a Windows PC looking thing, but is also a simpler, more reliable Windows PC thing, which is going to be a lot easier to do on ARM. So, and if you want to do portable devices, and they do, making the platform ARM is the best thing you could possibly do across the board. But obviously, efficiency, battery life, whatever, just general reliability, smart.
Yep.
So we'll see. But anyway, these are big steps and they're really, really positive news. So that's good. Speaking of Fortnite, Fortnite is also coming to the iPhone in Australia, apparently, because Apple and in this case, Google keep losing all their App Store monopoly trials.
Nice.
And they're like, yeah, no, this is a legal monopoly. You're going to have to open up the store. So they're like, yeah, we're going to bring the Epic Game Store to the iPhone there. And as they're doing, I think it's in Europe, it's going to be in the United States any second now again. And so that, good for them, I guess. That's good.
Yeah, I wonder how much VPN action they're going to get.
I don't. Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, as this gets chipped away in different, regions, it's like at some point, are we just going to just do this? Can we just do this?
This feels like the unraveling of music too.
Yeah.
Like it's the 99-cent song effect. It's like bit by bit, it's just sort of on dissembles and it all seems silly in the end.
It's always seemed silly to me. I've never understood how this has lasted so long.
It all seems silly at the end. You're so world weary.
Well, that's what happens.
It just seems familiar, right? That's like, oh yeah,
we've done this before.
We've
Right?
done this before.
Silly in the end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
In
put
the
that
end,
on my
all we wanted was
tombstone.
Steam. We didn't want anything else.
My tombstone's just going to say, I have made a huge mistake. So, which will probably be the cause of my demise, whatever that is. And then what else we got? Oh, yeah. So this is kind of odd. It's kind of hard to explain in a way, but the Xbox app, which is like the Xbox dashboard on the console, right? When you think about it, it's kind of a front end to your games and whatnot. They're making a change to both where if you're, again, this is Xbox Insiders for now, but it will be eventually everyone. I think this is actually related to the Windows and ARM thing, right? That they're opening up the number of games you're going to see on wherever you are, right? And so if you go to on the a console, there's a My Games interface and app, My Games and Apps, I guess. And it shows you can filter games apps. And then it shows you everything that's in your library. And your library could be those things you bought, literally, obviously the things you were installed in the console. But if you're on Game Pass, all of your Game Pass stuff. And so they're going to start showing the things you get for free with Xbox, which is like game trials or demos or, these, it's like the stuff that would have been like, you could have gone and found in the store, but there was no real central place for it. Like they're just going to add it to this. So kind of bulking up the look of the library, whatever, which is fine. And then I guess we'll end it on two negative notes. I guess we're not quite done with the layoff / game studio cancellation stuff because there is a report. I don't know that Microsoft has confirmed this, but the game Contraband was one of the bigger Xbox exclusives that we were expecting and has apparently been paused, the development of this title. So I don't know if that means like when Intel pauses construction of a data center in Ohio that I think we all know they're never actually going to build. There's a bunch of like construction guys walking around on a bunch of concrete with rebar sticking out of it or something. That's how I imagine what they're doing. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but again, they haven't confirmed it. But this is Avalanche Studios, and these guys made, what was the big game they had? Just Cause. Series of games, Just Cause 4.
Well, these guys might actually be behind for a reason, right? There are legitimate reasons to cancel game 2.
Yep. Yeah.
This seems a bit random, so it might just be.
This one
you
came
missed
out
your
of
milestones again, and we're going to let this go.
Yeah. I mean, we still have like 40 games in development. Don't worry, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Speaking of nothing to see here, there was a 2-second time about 2 years ago when we started talking about like gaming Chromebooks for some reason.
Yes.
And, it's like
both guys were really excited.
Yeah. It's like a paper airplane is sort of like a model airplane. So at some point, I think it was almost 2 years ago now, they made available something called, Steam for Chromebook.
Yeah.
Which was always in beta. It never came out of beta. It's never coming out of beta. They're going to get rid of it. So I guess they're not doing it. And I would assume, I shouldn't assume this. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I was going to say it must be streaming, but I guess it isn't, because if you have a good enough Chromebook, you basically have a Linux box here. And so Steam makes that Proton compatibility layer, so you can play Windows games on Steam Deck. this should work on a Chromebook.
Even if it was a subset, you could at least play Plants vs. Zombies, right? Like it doesn't have to be an FPS.
But it could be like Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this game's 25 years old or whatever.
Yeah,
like
Chromebooks got plenty of clout, but I imagine they couldn't get enough game houses interested in doing a cross compile, and so it's just like we're not going to be able to fill the catalog out. We're wasting our time.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Steam guys make a lot of money, and they run a very flat system where pretty much the folks that are working there decide what they're going to work on.
Right.
And so, and if they could see, and in the end, they all get compensated by how well the company does. If they couldn't see a way for Chromebooks to make them money, they're not going to do it.
Yep. Yeah. There was a random video interview with Gabe Newell, who is the, I guess, CEO or whatever, but they don't really have a title. One of the founders, anyway. And he's an
Major Domo.
Yes, there you go. He's an enigmatic kind of guy, I think is what I would say.
You know what he is? He's the billionaire you want.
Yeah.
The guy's made a huge amount of money. Yeah. He's completely changed the industry, and he doesn't spout off.
Yeah, he's like what Brian Wilson was like, minus the drug problem, I guess. Yeah. Like he walks around in a bathrobe all the time, and he owns super yachts, and he goes scuba diving. I don't know, but anyway,
all will hope that that billionaires were like Gabe Newell.
Yep.
Just sticks to his knitting and lives happily ever after.
I mean, but finish Half-Life 3. But yes, other than that.
Let's not get crazy now.
Other than that, yes.
Although there's new rumors again.
I know.
About what? Half-Life 3?
Yeah. Of course. I know.
It's a great franchise, right? And now you're really thinking about part 3 of Half-Life 2, which they made very clear they're never going to make, but a Half-Life 3 coming off of Alex would be a possible.
Sounds like you can't wait.
I'd play it in a second.
I would too. Right now. I want it so bad.
That first scene coming out of the tunnels in Half-Life 2 suddenly into the open world. And it's beautifully oppressive.
I just showed it to my wife because when they did the whatever anniversary edition, and I was like, this thing is as good today as it was when I first came out. And it just does such a world building, like nonchalantly. You immediately understand this world from just the voiceovers and what's going on. And you see the guy kind of abusing one of the citizens, and you go through the, it's like 5 minutes into the game. You're like, I completely understand this world.
Yeah.
Like it is I almost said master class. I hate that. That's another term I can't stand, but it is a master class.
It was
storytelling
a piece
interactive
of storytelling.
fiction, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're Gordon Freeman. You've been frozen and then brought back to deal with a new world, and you need to understand that new world immediately. And they nailed it. And then shortly after that, you're spiked with a stun rod.
Exactly. Hit the hay. Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's just really good.
It's really fantastic.
Yep. Anyway, Half-Life 3. Seriously, can we get on this, please?
Please.
Okay. I have some more game stuff in the
tips and picks in the back of the book.
We'll get there.
All we need is a break. We could have a break.
Oh, you want a break?
What the hell is a break?
All right. You got through that thing all the way. I thought I had a minute or two left. Okay, good.
Sorry.
It seemed like there were a lot of things more, and you just kind of went right through them. Okay, good. Okay. Let me gather myself.
I'm not actively trying to get through it.
Let me gather my wits about me.
Let's gird your loins.
My loins have been girded the whole show. Are you kidding? You think I'd come to this show with ungirded loins? I'm not insane, man. This is the moment on the show where we beg for money. I don't do the PBS beg thing, although maybe I should. They seem to be very successful for them. They tell me they get about 4 to 5% of their audience as members, which is true. I mean, I support them. I'm a member of my local PBS station. I watch and I support them. Give them $5 a month. I don't want to beg. I don't want to beg. And, maybe that's why we only have about 2% of our audience as club members. Maybe if I just told you how great the membership is. Now, it is a little more expensive, $10 a month. Of course, you get many shows for that, not just Windows Weekly, all of our other shows, plus a lot of shows we only do in the club TWiT Discord, things like all the keynotes now Microsoft's Ignite build. The Made My Google's coming up in a couple of weeks. Their Pixel 10 announcement, the Apple announcements, all of those are in the club only to avoid takedowns. We also do some special programming, our AI users group, Home Theater Geeks. Paul does a great hands-on Windows. We have hands-on Apple. The photo segment with Chris Marquardt, Stacy's book club, Micah's creative crafting corner, which is so much fun. I can go on. I mean, we try to make it fun to be in the club. And I think the Discord is a great place to hang out. It's my favorite social network because it's smart people, right? Talking about interesting things, not just our shows, but all the things geeks are interested in. Great place to go for information. $10 a month. The other thing that I think is a kind of subtle benefit is it's a vote. It's a vote for this content. If you like what we're doing and you want us to keep doing it, right now, 25% of our operating expenses are paid by you club members. And I suspect that percentage is going to go up, not because we're going to get more club members necessarily, but because it's getting tougher in the current economy to get advertisers excited. So that means if you like this show, if you want our shows to continue, if you want new programming designed just for you, cast your vote by joining the club. twit.tv/clubtwit. There's a 2-week free trial. There are family memberships. There are enterprise memberships. And of course, there's the monthly and yearly membership for individuals. That's you. If you're not a member, I beg of you. All right. See, I did it. I begged. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. We would like to have you in the club. And thank you in advance. Now, we go to the much awaited, vaunted, beloved back of the book. And when we do the back of the book, there's no better person to get back in the book and begin the back of the book. The Mr. Back of the book himself.
You're losing me, man.
Paul Thurrott. Hey, Paulie.
How you doing?
What's up?
So, as you mentioned earlier, my daughter graduated from college this past weekend. So the family got together in North Carolina. And my son told us this story, which I just have to relate because it's so beautiful. But they had a power outage where he lives. So he's deaf and his roommates are deaf and they have cochlear implants. So they have these little batteries and you got to keep these things charged. And they were trying to figure out like, where can we go to get our stuff charged up? And somehow they found out they could go to the library, which is a place we brought Mark a bunch when he was a kid, a lot. He was there
Love the library. Love it.
Apparently,
Libraries are awesome.
He has no idea what a library is. So he went to the library and they're charging their things for free, right? Love it.
Nice. Thank you, library.
And they have time to kill. So they're looking around like, look at this place.
It's got books and stuff.
So Mark's looking around the library and he's like, this place is pretty cool. I wonder if I could, he goes up to the desk, this is a little old lady with the glasses on the chain, right? And he says, hey, how much does it cost to get a library card?
I love him.
She's like, do you live in, I think it's Marietta or whatever the name of the town is? And he goes, yep. And he goes, well, good news, it's free. And he's like, nice. I'm going to get a library card. And then he says, how much does it cost to take out a book? And this is a quote from the woman. She said, bless your little soul. I was like, Mark, you've been to a library.
You know how they work.
So here's the thing. This was a reminder, of how idiotic anyone that comes from me is, but also that, obviously the world's changed a lot. Like I used to live in libraries when I was a kid. But libraries, they're still there. Yeah. They've had to kind of change what they do. Libraries have amazing things in, at least in my area, some libraries, like you can go and borrow like a drill or a hammer if you don't have tools. Like they'll just let you take these things. Mm-hmm. Wow. If you want to try a product like a food processor or something, or like an air fryer rather, they'll let you take one and go try it at home. And if you like it, you can go buy it at Amazon or whatever. But they also have all this digital stuff. And so, for example, there's in the United States, this is the US specific, I'm sorry, but there's a service called Libby, which is Overdrive, where you get free audiobooks through your library. So, like I went to the library here a couple of years ago, got a card, and now you can get free audiobooks. You can get they have periodicals in there. This this is just free. Like you should just do this. Like if you live in the United States, you probably live near a library. It's still there. You might be surprised. maybe you probably grew up on one like I did. I don't know. But these things are still around, and they're way better than they used to be. Like, they were always awesome. They were always about books to me at the time. But there's a whole thing going on there. Yeah, they played. I was looking at, like, in the car right here. I was looking at our library locally. Like, they play D&D there. They have reading clubs. Obviously, they have authors that come and give speeches and things. And there's a whole thing. There's like
it's awesome, isn't it?
It's crazy.
So awesime.
So I just,
Love the
because
library.
my son reminded me that despite the fact that he should know exactly what a library is, he has no idea. If you're out there and you're like, I haven't even thought about the library, think about it. I would just go take a look. I think you'd be surprised.
Hey, Keith in the Discord hit on the important part. And the library has air conditioning.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. It is delightfully cool in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Which was my big time at the library, actually, when I was a kid, because I always did their little reading program thing where you would, get a little sticker for every book you read or whatever, and had to read whatever number, 10 or something. I don't know. But,
We belonged when I was a kid in Providence, Rhode Island, to a library. It was a private library. I think you had to pay for it. It was where Edgar Allan Poe had hung out.
Oh, that's great.
It's called the Athenaeum.
Yeah,
It was this beautiful library, and they had a children's room. But I very quickly discovered that I liked some other books that weren't in the children's room. I would go up to the reading room. I read the entire Count of Monte Cristo, which is like 3 volumes.
Yep.
Practically without leaving the library. I mean,
They used to do things like they would have like model train magazines, that like stuff I'd never seen
the
before.
periodicals section.
They had
was so great.
Like the hardcover versions of the Lord of the Rings where there's like a fold up map in the back, and I was like, oh my god, look at this thing! Like I just, I lived for the library when I was a kid.
So there's Libby and there's another one, Hoopla.
Yeah, what's the other one?
Hoopla, I think is the name of it. But anyway, you check your library. They may support both.
Yeah.
And for audiobooks, it's fantastic because my library here in Sonoma County has 30,000 titles, and many libraries have interlibrary loans.
Right.
So even if your library didn't have it.
Here's a fun tip from my wife, which is like she does this a lot for ebooks, like for Kindle books or whatever there. And like she won't be able to read the book in the amount of time she has, so she just like puts her Kindle offline so they can't take it back. And then she finishes it and she sends it back.
Oh, that's sneaky. They do, because they have deals with publishers. They have a limited number of issues. Look at this. I could subscribe to New Yorker for free.
Yeah, so someone
New
else might be
Scientist,
watching it
look
or
at
something,
this.
but when they're done, like then you can read it. Like it's like
Yeah, it's like a library.
Yeah, it's like the way it always was.
Even with digital.
Right.
Yeah, I think you'd be crazy, even if you have.
I think people would be shocked. Like if you don't know this, and then you actually go look, I think you'd be shocked. Mm-hmm. And it's not just this stuff. Like this is electronic, whatever. It's great. It's awesome. I don't mean anything, but like I said, we could. I said you don't pay for it. They give you an air dryer. You bring it home. You use
air
it.
Fryer.
Air
Although,
fryer,
to be fair, that's about the same thing.
Could be a hair dryer. Right.
It's just in a different container.
August in Phoenix. But
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. And then you bring it back. And if you want one, you just go buy it. Like I love it. The whole tool thing is amazing too, because like this is like a lot of people will buy tools like when they need it for some job and then they never use it again. Like they have some random Allen wrench set or whatever the heck it is. And like, this is a way better way to do this. It's like, like when we got back to Mexico, I have to drill a hole in the wall. And so like one of the last things I did before I left, I saw one of our neighbors who I figured he's an American. I was like, you have a drill, don't you? And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, I'm going to need it when I come back. I'm going to be borrowing that.
I have an enemy. I want to, yes.
Yeah. I've been right. I'm going to drill holes in the wall until I can see the view.
Excuse me. Do you have a wood chipper I could borrow for a night?
Yes, right. Yep. I think it was Happy Gilmore, the guy, when he calls and apologizes. Do we ever talk about this recently? He apologizes all his people he abused when he was a kid. And it's like Steve Buscemi when he calls and he's like, oh, no problem. I didn't think anything of it. It's been 40 years, whatever. And then he hangs up and he goes, he's got a thing that says people to kill, and he uncrossed, like he crosses out that guy's name. And it's like, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, anyway. So yes, library. Look at the library. Seriously.
Yes. And put Libby on or Hoopla on your phone.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, get a card. You have to get a card first. Yeah, get
but the cards are free. Look, I have my card right here.
You don't have to pay for the card. My son just learned that. And yep. And then you pick your local library. And in our case, like we can also get stuff from Philadelphia from here, which is kind of interesting. So we can have
That's
like two.
cool.
Yeah, and like that opens up a whole new thing, right? We're never going to go down there, but for the library, but you still have access to that because we're in, I guess not close enough area, or whatever. But anyway.
Our local library just had a $4 million remodel. So it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
The other thing, the library is like, it's nice. Like even like in Dedham, it was like a historical building. It was old. The one I went to was like a smaller one, but also nice. But we go to the library down here and it's like, what is happening here? Like, why is this place so nice? It's like the future, inside. It's crazy.
Because in our library, we can get movies too.
Yeah.
You can get free movies.
I know, it's crazy. I don't think many people know all this. There's so much there. I think people are going to be shocked.
Yeah.
You either know exactly what I'm talking about already and you've done it, or you're like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yep.
It's unbelievable. So
really incredible.
Take advantage of it.
I'm glad you mentioned this, Paul.
Don't be like my son. Yeah.
I love it that he said, well, how much
she was
does
like,
it cost
bless your little heart
to get a book? Oh, the card is free. Yeah, that's nice.
He's like
so excited to have a young person in there, but you got to explain the fundamentals.
I think he said it was like the nicest way anyone ever told him how stupid he was.
Well, I got to tell you, when you are in the South, bless your heart isn't exactly, it's a little bit of I don't know. It's a little shade. They're casting a little shade.
It's passive aggressive.
It's passive. Yeah. Well, bless your heart, you ignorant little punk.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Which I appreciate that.
Can you try whiskey at the library, Richard? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. But there are whiskey libraries.
Let's find out about that. Yeah.
All right. And then, so I think when this happened, Thursday, maybe late last week. So last week was QuakeCon. This thing happens every August. Never know what's coming. And then last year, remember, they did those amazing remix or remastered versions of the original two Doom games. This year, they did it for Heretic and Hexen. So these are
classic
Doom engine games that came out by a company that created itself specifically to do this. And it's called Ravens. And so Doom was
these
made.
These are some of the first Doom engine games after Doom.
Yes, and some of the best too. Like especially to me, Heretic was like it was like having another Doom. Different weapons, obviously, and different whatever. But it's just wonderful. And so those are available now, remastered 4K, 120 frames a second. There's 2 new episodes, one for each game. They do crossplay, multiplayer. It's unbelievable. All the game passes: Xbox One, Series X and S, Xbox PC, meaning Windows, PS4, PS5, Switch, Steam, GOG, every stream service, it's $15 if you already own the game. Like if you bought it on Steam 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whatever, on GOG, you just get this for free. This is awesome. So this was the game where I was like, look, I get it. You're trying to block games on Windows and ARM for some reason, but this is going to run. It's going to run great, Yep. The joke about this game, and not a joke, but the funny thing in some ways about this game is like if you've ever tried to play Call of Duty on a PC, and not only is the game like 125 gigabytes, whatever, but then there's like 70 gigabyte updates, and you're like, geez, like I just want to play the game. These games together, all their updates and everything, just a gigabyte. It's just like and so I tried over the weekend, failed. We drove home today. We just got home. And they just announced this is available. And I was like, okay. And they're like, it's not going to come to everyone right away. The ability to play games through the Xbox app on Windows and ARM. But I was like, I'm going to take a look at this because I've been doing this for a long time. And it was full. It was full up. It was all there. So I just installed Heretic, installed 2. It's like, no, I'm not exaggerating. I think it installed in 25 seconds. Like it was so fast. And it played great. Of course it does, right? But maybe not. But I don't know. I think Windows 11 on ARM, you think like it's not going to work. It worked great. Like I know it's 30. It is literally 30 years old now or something like that. Almost 30 years old. But awesome. So I can't wait. And it's like a muscle memory thing. Like you start playing the game and you're like, oh, I know where I have to go. And I remember this. And you're like, it's excellent. It's such a great game.
It's awesome.
Yes. And then I haven't tried this one yet because it was kind of happening while I was away. But a week or two ago, EA did a Battlefield 6 single player kind of preview where it was just a video. It looks amazing, but I don't really care about single player. But then they did a multiplayer reveal as well. And, Call of Duty type game, obviously, but super realistic looking and kind of the Modern Warfare type stuff. It is on open beta now through August 17th. So that's only like 4 days away. You can get it through Steam, I know, because that's how I got it. But probably elsewhere, maybe on Xbox. I don't remember. I'm not really sure where it is, but it's, for a little while you can play this thing for free. So I'm going to try. I haven't tried it yet. Now that I'm home, I'm going to probably not today, but maybe tomorrow I'm going to take a look at this. This is a contender. So I think it's coming out in November or October. I don't remember the exact release date, but if you look at the videos of these single end multiplayer, it looks like it looks real. Like it looks amazing. So, Battlefield has disappointed me more than often than not, in the sense that it's not exactly Call of Duty, which is not their fault, but this one looks really good. So I definitely want to take a look at it and see what it's like.
It's nice.
It's worth looking at.
I played Hexen way back. I mean, Heretic.
A while ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
Heretic, and then Heretic 2 was later, and that one was it was probably a Quake 2 engine game because it was like a third person thing.
Yeah.
Which was also pretty good. I would think we'll get those eventually because I think there was a Hexen sequel as well. Hexen is more of a RPG, whereas the Heretic games.
How does it look? Have you looked at it? Have you played it? Have you looked at it?
Yeah. So it looks like it looked to me. So the laptop I played it on it's only 1080. It's like 1920 by 1200. So I played full res.
It does look very Doom-like.
It looks like it. To me, it looks like it did then. The big thing, like the Doom games are like this too. Like when you first run it, the like all the menu is now it's beautiful. It's like it's like it's not bitmapped and blocky looking.
Right.
Like it's gorgeous. And then they have actually the one big change that's really obvious is the soundtrack is unbelievable. Like there's a modern redone, and it does like Dolby Atmos and all that stuff if you have it. But it's these are just good games. Like they're Half-Life and Half-Life 2 took this type of thing to a completely different level. Like these are straight up. Well, Heretic is a straight up Doom type game, made with the Doom engine, but obviously, but it meaning it's action, and you find a key, open a door, you get into a new area. Like it's it will be very familiar, but it's they're just good. They're good. They're just well done. Oh, I should say, sorry, I got to get moving here so Richard can have some time. I'm sorry, man. Raven went on to be bought by Activision or Blizzard, but it became part of Activision Blizzard. id went on to be bought by Bethesda, which went on to be bought by ZeniMax, which went on to be bought by Microsoft. Right. So Microsoft also owns Activision Blizzard. So Microsoft owns all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool. Like last year they did Doom, which is straight up id Software, which was Bethesda. This year they did Heretic and Hexen, which is Raven, which is, what did I say? Activision Blizzard. Yes. So cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, Ricardo, it's time for you to give us some whiskey. Oh, for that, let's do Runners Radio.
Well, and you're going all Irish on me, which is funny because I was talking to Tony Redmond,
yep, who
happily lives in Ireland.
I wasn't making fun of him, honest.
No.
I didn't know this.
He would appreciate it.
He's a happy
Actually, my Irish is more like that. Yeah. This is an Irish. I was doing a Scottish, but that's okay. I don't mind. Does he talk like that, like a leprechaun?
No, he's
not at all.
I wouldn't say that to his face.
Not at all. May the road rise up to meet you as you're on your way down to Runners Radio.
You're looking to get punched. Is would be the response.
There is a kind of crazy old Irishman I meet on my walk every evening.
Nice.
And he'll buttonhole you and he'll start telling you stories that make no sense at all. I think he's really lost his marbles. He said there was a donkey and another donkey, and the donkey, anyway, it doesn't go anywhere.
And then you're like, beep boop. Sorry, I have a call. Like,
hello, hello,
like,
I gotta
hello,
go.
please,
bye."
somebody call me. Have someone call me immediately.
But his accent is so cute. He's very
funny.
sweet. He's very sweet.
Tony, I don't know.
Yeah. Not so
Yeah,
cute.
Tony's grumpy for a reason. He's maintaining a forever book, the Office 365 for IT Pros book, which he's got a nice cadre of people around him. There's a new edition out. I think it's like the 12th edition already. And it is, keeping up with the reference material for folks who need to manage an M365 tenant. But this time around in the conversation, we went deep into the work they're doing in the graph. He was really talking about how the contemporary IT Pro manages all of the problems involved in a tenant of any substantial size, meaning to make changes to rights and controlling access and things like that. And it's this combination of PowerShell and the Microsoft Graph and a bunch of the other low-level tools working in coordination to be able to get to the info you need, know how people are using things, put proper governance in place. And so just many of these things are obvious, and the graph is less so. And it's a superpower when you get it figured, because you're really actually able to see what people in your organization are doing with M365, not just what apps they're using or what files they're touching, but how data moves around. And that really can help you to control rights and keep track of what governances are needed. So a great conversation as usual. He's a regular every year when there's a new update and just try to help people to do more with the little time that they have. And we barely talked about Copilot, thank goodness.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, both.
Now, I
both
hear
a little tired.
there is an American whiskey that is not bourbon.
Yeah, weird, huh?
How did that happen?
What would it be if it wasn't bourbon?
Blasphemy. That's what it would be.
So I'm here in Kansas City for the Kansas City Developers Conference, and I have a few dear friends here, one of which my friend Heather throws a big party ahead of the event. So I was helping her with the party, and we were sampling her whiskey collection. And she is a very strong advocate of all things Kansas City, including this distillery, the Union Horse distillery that makes this whiskey called the Rivalist. And the Rivalist is an American single malt whiskey. And American single malt is now an official standard by the Alcohol, Tobacco and Tax and Trade Bureau. As of this past January 2025, they ratified a standard for American single malt that is 100% malted barley, made from a single distillery that mashed, distilled, and matured the product in the United States in oak casks no larger than 700 liters. The maximum ABV when distilled no higher than 80%, can't be bottled lower than 40%. These are very similar to the bourbon rules. And no additives, although caramel color is allowed, but must be labeled on the bottle. Now,
These all seem sensible. Yeah. Is this comparable to Scottish whiskey rules?
Very comparable, but maybe a little bit more flexible in some respects. They haven't put a ton of rules in place. They didn't put a minimum aging in place, although for the most part, you'll find 3+ years is normal. And there have been companies making this since the 90s, just making barley mash whiskey in America. The standard helped push a sort of consistency around it. Some of the big players are doing it. There is a Jack Daniel's ASM now, but mostly it's these little distilleries. And Union Horse, we had a chance. This is a newer bottle of it because the older one somehow ended up empty. I don't know how that happened. And I have one of Union Horse's Glencairns to go with it.
To get another one.
To get another one. And there's another one over there because I don't travel with open bottles. So this will be consumed this week with some help, I imagine, so that'll go just fine. The distillery itself, Union Horse, was formed by 4 siblings, Damian, Patrick, Eric, and Mary Garcia, in the around 2009, 2010. Family horse farm was being sold. They wanted to go into business with each other, which is an interesting choice. And had a chance to meet with Damian and one of his co-workers, a fellow named Travis, who spent 90 minutes with us, taking us through the distillery and having a great conversation. And Damian made the point of, you've lived with your siblings, but you haven't worked with your siblings. It's a whole other dynamic. But they were looking for a business to get in on. And the older brother, Patrick, had been working in a brewery for some time and knew his way around that. So they were thinking about brewery until they actually toured a craft distillery right at the time when craft distilleries were starting to emerge in that 2009-2010 timeframe. And I thought, okay, well, distilling is the thing we could do. And they live in a great grain part of the world. that, has a legacy of making spirits and so forth, although largely crushed by the prohibition at the time, back in the day. The company was originally called Dark Horse because of the heritage of their family being in the horse business. Turned out Gallo owns a wine line called Dark Horse Wines. So there was some cease and desist and so forth. And by 2016, they changed the name to Union Horse, although you still see the Dark Horse here and there. So this is wheat from Kansas, corn and barrels from Missouri. They got Midwest. They call it Midwest grown rye. It's further north where the rye grows. They also use malted barley, especially in the Rivalist. Although admittedly the barley comes pre-malted by the big guys that do it here in the U.S., mostly for breweries. Because they came to distilling new, they weren't hung up on traditional mash bills. They did get an expert involved, Dave Portnoy, or not Dave Portnoy, a different Dave, who's the guy behind Whistle Pig, and went directly to enzyme fermentation for their rye and their corn. So that saves a lot of pain. You don't have to add the barley for the amylase and so forth. So they buy their product raw and grind it themselves. All stainless steel equipment. So I got a chance to meet all these tanks for the washes and the fermenters and so forth. Of course, we've talked about this before, but making 100% rye is extremely difficult. Rye is a complicated grain. It has more proteins in it. So it tends to be a very sticky mash. It's hard to clean. It's hard to manage. It tends to foam up. It's a challenge in the still itself. But the new enzyme approaches have made it easier. They're a little more capable to manage. And they have a very cool American still. It's made by a company called Vendome out of St. Louis, family owned. It's a 500-gallon combination pot column still they call Chester Copper Pot.
Oh, I love it.
And it's only about a 500 gallon. But that combination gives them the copper reflux that tunes the flavor, as well as it calms the allows to get a high distillate. So they actually make a vodka that initial distillations are all the way to 90%, although of course they cut it to 40 to bottle it, but they don't need that combination still approach. And sticking with the batch approach allows them to use sour mash approaches, which is traditional in the flavors of American whiskey, as much as this is a barley instead of a corn rye barley mash bill. So one of the challenges you have in a place, here we are right on the junction of the Kansas and Missouri rivers in a city called Kansas City, but mostly in Missouri. There is a portion of it in Kansas, but, be careful. Don't mix up the names.
Oh, no.
Is that it gets very hot here in the summertime and it gets very cold in the wintertime. And that is tough conditions for aging whiskey. And this is one of those places where the alcohol level in the barrels can actually go up.
What?
So, because they lose water faster than they lose alcohol. And so
is that because of the temperature?
It's the low humidity. The low humidity pulls on the water.
Air.
And remember that alcohol and water generally don't get along all that well. So if the water's in motion, it'll pull the alcohol back. And so you can actually lose water. So the interesting side of this is that they barrel at only 55%. So they're using American oak and they're charring it the traditional way. They use a char number 3, which is a fairly standard char barrel. They started out with 53-gallon barrels in the early days, then went down to smaller barrels to make faster production, and now have gone back to the big barrels as they continue to run. But they go into the barrel at 55%, which is relatively low. Traditionally, in bourbon country, you'd go into the barrel at 62.5. But as I was talking to Travis, who works in the barrels, he says most of the time when they come out of the barrel, they're higher than 55. They can be 60 up to 62.5. So, and that changes the flavor because those higher ABVs pull different compounds from the wood. And so we were walking around the rack house today, 4 wide and maybe 10 wide and maybe 4 high. And he talked about the honey pots, the little sweet spots in the center there that hold a little more humidity. So the temperature changes a bit slower and those come out differently. The barrels at the top of the stack where they took the most heat and the lowest humidities, they're the ones that tend to come up with the higher ABVs and down lower they get a lower ABV. So they're always pulling from different points in the stack when they make a batch. And they'll take about 6 barrels down for a batch, 1,000 to 2,000 bottles at a go. So every single bottle Not hand. I watched them doing it. It's these little stickers all put on by hand. Every bottle written on it by the master distiller as to what batch, what ABV, and who did it. So they're only at a certain scale as to what they're able to do here. And they typically go more than 4 years, up to 5, 6. They have a few olders now. They've only been running for a while. So there's a couple of 10 years that are laid up. But it's a real question. When you have an uncontrolled rick house like this, it's taking those huge temperature swings, is he not inevitably going to end up with problems with overproofing, overwooding, too much being pulled in? And so those older barrels probably won't be bottled on their own. They never put an age statement on any of their bottles. They just have names. They make about 7 different versions. They make 100% rye. They make a cast strength version of that. They've got a white dog, 51% corn, 49% wheat. But it's that mash bill's only used for their white spirit. It's big in making cocktails because it's very bright and light flavors. And they have a very traditional bourbon that they follow the bourbon rules for completely. This experiment in barley took them some time because they actually were trying different toasts of barley. And they use 3 different kinds of barley combined into the mash, although it's 100% barley. So those experiments started in 2015. They got their first production in 2017 and then need to lay it up for at least 3 years. Around 21, 22, they finally got it out, did their sample runs, entered the New York World Wine and Spirits Competition in 23 and won for Best American Single Malt.
Very good job.
So let's have a taste of this lovely thing. I know what I'm getting. I want you to get a good look at this sitting in a Glencairn as you would with a Scottish whiskey. This is done very much in the Scottish whiskey style. A ton of color, but no corn, right? So really not a lot of sweet on the nose. It's straight up barley like you're drinking a Scottish whiskey. Lots of wood. Got that little toasty flavor to it, but there was no peat in it. The heat's substantial, but it's gentle on the mouth. This is a really nice drink, and it is now an emerging style for America to make a good barley whiskey because we have those products available. And this is a small distillery. It's in a suburb outside of Kansas City on the Kansas side. And they're selling now only into about 12 states so far. They haven't left the U.S. at all. And so Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Illinois, Colorado, Oklahoma, all the ones you expect, and a couple of coastals like New York and New Jersey. It is in California, but you can only find it in Los Angeles and San Francisco. And then in Tennessee, Georgia, Connecticut. They're expanding gradually over time as they win into other markets and get other opportunities here. But this is a small production whiskey, and you can find it at a Total Wine for about $60.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not bad for this style of whiskey, and especially made in such small quantities. So they're all very distinct. And again, my thanks to Damien and Travis. They took such good care of us. And they spent more time than they originally said they were going to. I think we ended up there. We were supposed to get an hour. We got 90 minutes. But we really enjoyed each other's company. Had a lot of laughs. And I think they're going to make Heather some kind of ambassador for their product because she loves it and takes it with her when she travels as well. So spreading the good word.
That's really cool. That's really great.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun with this one, but it's great to see excellent distilled products made, not just in Kentucky, not the places you expect, but there's absolutely no reason they couldn't be making good whiskey here. They've got all the ingredients. They just had to put in the work, and that's what they've done at Union Horse.
All you need is love.
Ship it to Canada.
Nope. I'm going to take one with me, though, and I'm going to covet it on my shelf.
From the Union Horse Distilling Company, Rivalist American Single Malt Whiskey with 2 thumbs up from Paul and Richard. Thank you, guys. We do Windows Weekly, including the whiskey segment every Wednesday. We start around 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1800 UTC. I say that because you can watch us do it live. We stream live. Of course, club members get behind the velvet rope access in the Club TWiT Discord. But there's also YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick. So plenty of places you can watch live. And if those places have chats, which most of them do, I see the chat here on my screen. We appreciate your participation in the show, and I mention content from the chat all the time. I mostly steal your jokes, but hey, all's fair in love and podcasting. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show are available at our website, twit.tv/WW. There's audio and video. Watch the video on YouTube. There's a link there on that page to the YouTube channel. That's a great way to share clips. If there's something you saw, you have a Hexen fam in the family who say, oh, wow, Hexen, something like that, whatever, or a whiskey fan, you could share little clips. Of course, we have a wonderful playlist that Kevin King, our editor, has put together, and producer has put together well, we're not fully caught up, but many of the whiskey clips, easy to find because Richard's created a special domain, Things from my closet?
Something weird from my closet.com.
Yep. Somethingweirdfrommycloset.com. And then if you like these whiskey segments, there's a whole passel of them in there, and we're keeping that up to date.
Yeah, I think we're almost up to 100.
It's amazing. This is why I love YouTube. What a resource. Yeah, you put all that effort in, and you do it pro bono, basically. And then, Kevin puts it together, and we put it up on YouTube, and that becomes a great resource for people. I think it's fantastic. A lot of history.
Yeah, Damien took a copy of that link with him to catch up on what we've been up to.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yes. And incidentally, probably means a lot more free liquor for you, Richard. I'm just saying.
Well, I have been invited back anytime.
Yeah, I thought so. You're now a whiskey influencer, or as some people call it, influencer.
More of an under the influencer.
Under the influencer.
Nice.
After the fact, you can subscribe to this show in your favorite podcast client as well. In fact, that's what I think the best way to do it. Do us a favor, though, if that client, whether it's Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple's podcast, Google's podcast, whatever, if that client has reviews, please leave us a strong endorsement, because that helps spread the word. When you've been doing a show for how many years is it now? It's 15, 20 years, long time. You're not the flavor of the month anymore.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so so a little help, if you would, promoting the broadcast, because these
more
guys
like the Shroud of Turin. It's like a shadow of something from the past.
What is that on there?
What is that guy?
Is that a stain? Oh no, it's Paul Thurrott.
I'm just gonna scrub that out of there.
First show was September 28th, 2006. So we are going to be in our 19th year as of next month. And Paul, you and I and Richard will celebrate 20 years in a year. That's amazing. Yeah. 19 years.
I know.
It's crazy, man.
Wow.
Well, we've got the thousands episode of Run As Radio coming up anytime. That one with Tony was 997. So we're doing the Q&A show, and people have been sending me their questions. I've got a few audio clips.
So great.
We'll have some fun with that.
So great. Well, this has been, for us, episode 945. 945.
945.
So we're slowly getting there, too.
We're slowly getting out of the Porsche model number range.
Actually, it's going to kind of, 1000 might be close to coinciding with our 20th anniversary, maybe a little before then.
Mm-hmm.
Should be interesting.
Well, that is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
actually.
They're going to line up.
Like the moon and Venus.
Yes.
or something.
Or
it
something.
Happens. It happens sometimes.
That's Paul Thurrott, the astronomer, as he's better known.
The astrologer, as I call myself.
The tide of his influence is best felt at Thurrott.com, THURRO.com. His books are at leanpub.com, including the Field Guide to Windows 11. But you can get those for free if you sign up for the newsletter at Windows Intelligence. Now, still not moved yet, but soon.
Soon. I keep wanting it. He'll say something soon. He's got. I like his ideas for this are good.
Good.
Chris's thing.
But the good news is, if you subscribe now, it will follow you. Right. Like
a stalker? I mean,
yes, forever.
Much,
you'll be subscribed for the rest of your life.
You are free to move along to the new newsletter.
The Windows Intelligence newsletter. Subscribe today.
Something different that I can't
and it will follow you to your new home, or they'll follow you from you. And you get Paul Thurrott's Windows 10 and 11 Field Guide as part of your subscription.
Yes.
Thank you, sirs. I think that's all we have to say. Club
Back home
members,
for next week.
Thank you. Safe travels, Richard.
Yep.
We will see you all right here next Wednesday. on Windows Weekly.